feeling reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Welcome. It's not a Saturday. We're not a little bit late, but you know what it is. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, here, my buddy Righteous Reg. What's going on, brother?
In the building, it's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, media man. It's Saturday morning, Grapsody podcast. It's been an insane year already. Very excited to be here. Very excited about life. What's going on with you, Phil?
I'm good. I'm still trying to get my sleep schedule back around of staying up late to watch wrestling. And then when I can't sleep, I'm just like up watching documentaries or something.
Okay.
But we have a guest.
You stayed up all the way till 8 p.m. to watch the Monday Raw Netflix thing?
Yeah, I stayed up. I stayed up last night playing video games. But
okay. You can get the early bird at the Golden Corral and then like settle in for a night of some wrestling.
No, I looked out my window and it was snow on the ground.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I'm probably not.
So that means 7 more months of wrestling.
Let me lock in. Yeah.
Yeah, so
7 more months of a 3-hour SmackDown.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm probably not going anywhere in the morning anyway. So it'll be whatever. But yeah, we have a guest. The buddy that I have like sat on the phone with, numerous 3-way phone calls with him.
Hey now.
Another friend of the show. Got me back into playing chess. I've talked to this guy multiple times on Wrestle Rap.
Okay.
Vin Forte is in the building, guys.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, we gotta play more chess. I gotta pick that back up.
Yeah, I will jump on.
This is a chess podcast now.
The chess podcast.
Listen, I got to jump on a group chat with y'all because the one area in life that I've always been trash at is chess, and I would love to learn. I would love to be one of those chess guys. Like those Oakland, they have like a park where the old guys go and play Saturday morning. Like I would love to be over there doing my thing.
See, the problem with learning chess though is it's like when I try and get like every once in a while I'll dip my toe back into playing online video games with more than just my friends, is go into a random lobby or whatever. And then I'll just I think like, okay, I'm pretty good. And then I get in there, I just get like
annihilated.
Some 19-year-old in Sheboygan like kills me within 5 seconds and taps his nuts on my face with his character. Like, it's like, I don't need this.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to have fun. I want to play video games.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of online chess in a while. I was one of those guys that played it a lot when Gmail was popping, when you had Hotmail.
When
and
Gmail was popping.
No,
was Gmail ever popping?
Sorry, when Yahoo Mail was popping, you could go in there and play people.
Oh, it's even better when Yahoo Mail was popping.
Yeah, but different times. But
back when you had your AIM account.
Yeah, I was gonna say when AOL was popping, that was a different time in them chat rooms. Woo wee! Glad they don't have them transcripts.
Yeah, you still got your Black Planet
Red's
account?
going into a lot of town halls.
I'm saying don't find them transcripts. It's crazy outside. I was talking crazy as a 13-year-old.
Yeah, you still got your Black Planet account?
No, it's lost. That and my MySpace account are just lost. I sometimes randomly try to go and find them, and it's lost media, man. It's sad.
Whenever I think of MySpace, I think of there's a scene in the movie Funny People where they're at they're doing it like some event, and James Taylor's there, and it's a MySpace event, and Seth Rogen's talking to James Taylor, and then at the end, James Taylor just raises his fist and he goes, "Fuck Facebook." And I'm just thinking, like, what a dated, like, wow, you really won that war.
Wow, I can't believe Facebook actually won. For a time, I was like, "There's no way Facebook's gonna win. They're a bunch of losers over there, and they're still going, being a bunch of losers over there."
Yeah, doing all this meta stuff.
Did they really win? This stuff this week. Doesn't look great.
It's like, did WWE really beat WCW? Oh, that's another story for another.
they
I'm not
tell
trying to get in trouble here.
They tell you every week they did. So
Yeah,
clearly
they will
did.
tell you.
Listen, the winner
say it.
the winner writes the history books, man.
That's a
Yeah,
fact.
the amount of DVD sets I've had to see where they're telling the story of either the Monday Night Wars or DX, where it's them on top of the like, it wasn't even a tank, right? It was just like a little.
It's like a golf cart
Jeep.
with a fucking with an extendo.
Yeah, and they're like, we invaded WCW. It's like you were like you were like 3 blocks away in front of a ravine.
Hey, they had me good though,
shooting
man.
vignettes.
I remember watching that Raw and being like, I can't believe this. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. They're invading. WCW lost.
Even worse was, do you remember when TNA tried to do a similar thing?
Oh God.
When they went behind I guess WWE was shooting something near Universal, where TNA was filmed. So they went behind the scenes to the lot and like brought them like food, which is like, no, that's the plan. You got to bring them food. Like,
I was of age at that point. And I was like, no, you probably should not have done this. This is a bad idea. This is ugly.
Speaking of bad TNA ideas, I was rewatching the other day. One of my favorite. If you're in the chat or you're watching this, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but please look this up. The time that Samoa Joe was kidnapped by ninjas in a panel van.
Oh yeah.
There's an episode of Impact from like 2009-10 where Samoa Joe's upset, and it's the end of the show, and Jeremy Borash is in the parking lot trying to get a quote from him, and he's like, I don't want to talk, and then all of a sudden a big van shows up and ninjas come out and just abduct Samoa Joe, and they go off the air, and they're like, "What's going on? Like, what happened?"
Wasn't one of the ninjas Okada?
I think may have been. I think Okada may have still been on an excursion over there, but then nobody saw Samoa Joe for like a month, and he comes back, and that's when he had the face tattoo.
Yeah.
And they didn't explain any of it. It's like, what happened?
Oh my God. I remember watching that and being like, this is Samoa Joe. He was already at that point one of the greatest from what his independent run and what he did in Ring of Honor. Yeah. And they were just treating him like some common street trash. I was like, this is Samoa Joe, you guys. What's going on here?
Sometimes you get abducted by ninjas.
That's true.
Gotta make the most of it.
Apparently that's what it is. But yeah, we got a bunch of wrestling to talk about. Got some debuts. Wrestling is officially on streaming platforms.
It is.
Got the leftover New Japan stuff to talk about from Wrestle Kingdom weekend. It sounds weird, like how much happened in a week, because last time we were here, we talked about night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom, and then, like, now that I think about it, like there were like 2 more shows in between there.
Yeah.
We did a live stream ourselves of Wrestle Dynasty that same day, and there's been so much that has went on in this 1 week of wrestling.
So much.
Yeah,
I mean, it's every week at this point.
Yeah.
But you know the deal. Send us your super chats. That is the best way to get your chat read on the show.
Give the credit boys some money.
You can also send Humper Chats, humperchats.com.
Yes, sir.
Humperchats.com. Humpercat.
Let my guy do his thing out here, man. You know, trying to get his bits
send some
off.
Thundercats. Forget the Humpercats.
Yeah, of course, we always appreciate you guys submitting super chats, Humper Chats. Enjoy you guys for being here early on a Saturday morning. Shout out to all my homies and homettes and everybody out in Southern California. Let me do my thing, you guys. Out in Southern California. I'm trying to have a serious moment right here. Out in Southern California.
Yes.
It's pretty bad out there. I know you guys have seen on the news. I've gotten some messages myself. I'm hours away, you guys, so I'm in a safe zone for the time being. Actually, yesterday I woke up and felt an earthquake, and I'm like, look, I don't have time for this, you guys. Like, the world is like trying to tell us it's crazy out here, and so all these natural disasters are happening. But shout out to the LA homies. If you've been displaced or if you're in the zone, evacuated, hopefully you're doing all right. A lot of people are not doing all right. A lot of LA is gone. it's crazy. Like I've seen videos that look like a movie scene, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is real life. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. You could donate. You could send your love. Just want to send thoughts and prayers out to the people of Los Angeles.
Yeah, for those who don't understand, who may have just been maybe like out of it this week or whatever, because that happens, and you just hear like, okay, it's fires in LA, whatever. Like fires in LA happen. It's terrible, but like you hear about it happening every once in a while. This is different. Like go look up footage or like shots, like aerial shots of what has been lost. Like this is absolutely insane.
Looks like
nobody's seen anything like this. Yeah, like it's like like you said, whole areas of LA have just been decimated. Like it's I've never seen or heard anything like it.
Yeah, it looks terrible. I was talking about this last night on the phone, Reg, but did you see this video of Nate Dogg's son walking through the rubble?
That's
rapping?
embarrassing.
I was like, what's going on, man? What are you doing?
Shout out to my friend.
This is not the time.
Shout out to my friend Jamanika, who sent me this clip, and we're just both like, "What? Why are you doing this?" And I don't think nobody needed this, man. Like, your father is one of the most legendary figures ever in hip hop. His legacy stands, and then you're like, you know what? Let's make a video, dog. It's not the time.
Let's make a video at this time where you're walking around in the rubble of South LA.
Phil.
And...
yeah, like. It's
Phil.
bad. I thought that girl Millie rocking in front of the Marcy Projects was bad.
Yeah,
like
I thought that, I was like, damn, hip hop is being set back. But then Nate Dogg's son was like, nah, let's do this. I'm about to walk through the rubble of what is still burning.
Yeah, like the fire is going on behind him.
What?
For context, guys, if you have not seen this, there's a clip of a guy walking around and he's rapping like "City on fire, but I gotta smoke." And I'm just like, wait, whoa. And so when I first saw it, I was like, wait, this guy kind of sounds like Nate Dogg. And then I came back later and it was confirmed.
Nate Dogg's
Nate Dogg's son.
This guy kind of sounds like Nate Dogg.
Guy kind of sounds like, because it is.
Dude, I don't know
at
at this point. Like, there's devastation outside. Like, this city's been ravaged, and the homie was like, "Let me get these bars off." I guess,
Bro.
man. Maybe
And they were like
people
bars
deal in different
about
ways.
the fire, but there were bars about the fire. Not that any bars would have been better, but he's like "City on fire." I'm like, yeah, we know. Get out of the way. Let the firefighters through.
Fire bars, like he just wanted to kill two birds with one stone, you know.
At the end, because he's rapping the whole time with the blunt on his ear, and at the end he starts lighting up "City on fire, but I gotta smoke." Like, yo, bro, what is this?
We can't do this. We cannot do this. It's not the time, young Nate.
Yeah,
it is not
maybe
the
leave
time.
that one on the cutting room floor, man. It's
yeah, or like in
we-
2 months, like when it's not still burning, maybe you're like, look, I did this when it was happening. This is how I deal. I made this video, but he's like, nah, this is fresh. This is current. This is topical. Let me drop.
Yeah, we gotta there should be all hands support right now, not this like.
Yeah,
like
this is not the kind of support.
Like I saw a clip of like Steve Gutenberg where he's like, "You guys," he's like, "I'm angry at people because there's cars blocking the firefight. Like people gotta. If you're out here, leave your keys in your car so we can move your car for you at least." It's like
in LA,
nobody's leaving their.
Yeah,
it's like nobody's leaving their keys in their car.
I was like, that's
get
pretty
people out of there, but like that's big trust.
That's an ask, Steve Gutenberg. I saw that video. I'm like, that even with fires, people are still like, my property. They don't care about that. Like, that's the thing that I think that got a lot of people is it happened in one of the most selfish places in the world. So a lot of people are like, my things, and it's like, it's not time for my things, you guys. Like, we need to band together to get my life. You got to band together to get out of there. It's crazy.
Yeah. For some reason, I just thought of Tim Meadows yelling, "My houseboat!" My houseboat. Yeah. Nah, Steve Gutenberg. And where they find Steve Gutenberg at? I haven't seen him.
He was out and about.
He's out on the street.
He was just
That
out doing
sounds
his
about right.
thing, and he was like, "Yo," the reporter's like, "Who are you, sir?" And he was like, "I'm Steve
Who are-
Gutenberg." Yeah, he was like,
no,
"I'm
he
Steve
no, he was.
Gutenberg."
He's like, oh, you said you're an actor. Like, well, what's your name? He's like Steve Gutenberg. It's like,
Who are you? Oh, I'm Steve Gutenberg from the
And
Police
then
Academy
the
movies.
producer
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, dog, that's Steve Gutenberg." To the reporter, the reporter's like, "Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
3
yeah.
Men and a Baby.
I know you. You're the guy with the voices, right?" No, that's
that's the
the
black
other
guy.
guy. And that's the black guy in the Police Academy.
That's Michael Winslow, right? Like,
Yeah, that's Michael Winslow. No, that's Michael Winslow. I'm Steve
That's some
Gutenberg. I was the
Spaceballs,
star
yeah.
of the movie. Whatever happened to Michael Winslow?
Got
You
the
think
bleeps,
he's
the
still
bleeps,
doing
the
his voices?
creeps.
He has to be still doing the voices, right?
you know what? That's a good question. I don't know what.
Like he
Michael
could be a
Winslow's
TikTok
for.
sensation right now with his voices.
Oh, he probably could.
Money's like
Watch, he's like super political now. Like
I hate it. It sucks.
he's doing weird voices for like political.
Yo,
doing political banter in his crazy voices.
yeah, that would be
Stop
wild.
that count. Like,
That'd be wild.
Build a wall.
Yeah.
Like, well, hold on a second, Michael Winslow.
Oh.
he's just doing shit like, well, if C-3PO stormed the Capitol on the day, it might sound a little something like this, and then he goes into a whole thing like.
Woo. Interesting stuff. But yeah, shout out to the homies in LA. Hope you're good. All my people there, sending love to you. Let's get into some super chats and some humper chats before we get canceled out here. The homie Tenruza said, Hogan getting booed so hard, that's all glorious.
Loved it.
Yeah, there's some weird, like, I don't want to say revisionist history going on with Hogan this week, but I'm seeing a lot of people be like, is he finally canceled? Like, this is the end for him, right?
We did it.
It's like it's kind of been the end for him for a while, like, unless you're like a super Hulkamaniac. Like, like this man said on that tape like 15 years ago, I'm a racist.
He said it.
Said those
We heard
words.
it.
Yeah, I was about to say, Vin. I don't know if you want to say what he said.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to say what
No, I'm not gonna say what people can look that up for themselves. But like, he said he's a racist. He said some other things that prove that he's a racist.
That video and message is impacted in my brain. Every time I see his bald head, that message plays in my head, and that's what WWE will never realize. I think.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, we'll get into more of the Hogan stuff when we talk about Raw, but yeah, I was not surprised that he got booed. It's LA. Thank you, LA, for doing the
what
Lord's
would they
work on
think?
that one.
Like,
And just-
if you're gonna bring him out, you're gonna bring him out in LA. Like,
Worst place to bring
Big
brother
Blue
out.
State, I just
Come on, what are y'all thinking? What is this? Like, this would have worked. Like, people are like, he's gonna get booed every time. Like, no, there's a lot of places this shit would have worked, but LA, it's not gonna work.
No.
and there's no comparison. Like, people are doing this comparison. Like, wow, the Undertaker didn't get booed. It's like, listen, we all know the Undertaker's politics. But we also know that the Undertaker never did something like what Hogan did.
He don't got no video of him being like, I don't want my daughter to date one of them. Like, you know what I mean?
And also for all of his political leanings, like the Undertaker, as a human being, seems like a decent enough guy for most, unless you're a certain type of person. But like, I'm saying throughout the years, like you always hear good stories about him backstage.
Well,
Backstage,
I see what
so-
you mean.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
he
of
doesn't
course.
have the history. He doesn't have the
Take-
repeating. Like the way I've been describing it to people is Hogan showed his whole ass at one point, and to be very generous, at every single point where he could have shown some sort of contrition or pulled his pants back up even a little bit, he just pulled them down further to his ankles.
Yeah, no, Hogan has a history of doing stuff in the business that people know about, like being an anti-union guy, like lying on people, politicking to get his way. So, yeah, you don't have any of that stuff with Taker, but Taker has said some weird stuff on the podcast.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said
definitely.
stuff. I mean, you know.
But he also didn't open his mouth. He came out there, he rode around on his little motorcycle, and then
Yeah. Let's get it. When we get into the roster, there's a bunch of bits that I'm like, what? What?
Oh, boy, I can't wait. Can't wait to get into
can't
that.
wait. Bart Scott over here.
What
Can't wait.
happened? All right. The homie Grapple Geekery says, "Wish I could sell NC Snow to Cali Reg. I mean, they need it so bad."
Yeah, we got our first big snow last night, so you can come get some of the snow if you want it.
Come get some.
Come get some.
Tenruza says the curtain credit boy went wild this week. He was on TV
Curtain
like
credit.
you would never know, brother.
Curtain
He was on every show, pop, lock, and dropping. When I saw him and Nick Khan on NXT, I'm like, all right, you guys, like,
Bruh.
leave me alone. What are y'all doing here? Why are y'all in the crowd? Go out somewhere.
They got to do the victory lap. They got this.
What is this, Vin? While they're holding each other's arms up, doing this, I'm like, dog. What are y'all
when you're the industry leader and you're winning, you get to do things like that, and people are going to cheer.
Pop,
The
lock, and
Rock
drop it.
came out on that Netflix show and said, it basically told everyone in that crowd, you paid the most money to be here of
did say
anyone
that.
ever. And he got a roaring applause for
Big
that.
Pop. All those people were like, yeah, we paid a lot of money to sit in these seats. That's crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
No, man, he gave the sexual chocolate. Like, look at you guys. You're very beautiful out there. You guys should give yourselves a round of applause.
They did. And Phil, The Rock, still with the belt. What's the belt?
Oh, that phony baloney.
What's the belt?
The Muhammad Ali's wife belt.
What
Like-
is the belt?
Well, I don't know. Should we just go ahead and get into this, bro?
Let's just get into it.
Yeah,
man.
let's get into it. Because
What
okay,
is the belt?
there's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack with this, Ross. So, if you're okay, I don't even know where we should begin. Well, let's begin with the
you have
fact
to
that this
begin
was not a
with-
normal episode of Raw.
No.
Because a lot of people are looking at the ratings. They're wanting to dissect every little morsel of Raw, and it's like, I don't care if it's Raw. I don't care if it's AEW Dynamite. If they like went fully to a streaming site, like, you cannot judge this based on 1 week. This was an abnormal show where they brought out the big guns and made a whole spectacle because it was a new thing. It's a new thing for them. So and they gave you pay-per-view quality stuff in terms of like the types of matches that there wasn't a ton of wrestling on the show, but the stuff that was there was like marquee stuff for them. So it's like, you can't judge this based on 1 week. Everyone's saying, and the numbers are not meant for us to begin with. Like, some people are taking the 4.9 or whatever that number was, at just under 5 million, going, oh, see, they went up. They were doing 1.4 million on cable, and now it's like 4.9. It's like, no, that's the world. That's probably like around what they were doing before for the whole world. It's just now it's all consolidated onto Netflix. Like, when they showed the real number, where it's like 2.6 or whatever, it's like, yeah, that's a more reasonable number. Like, it's double what they normally do. It was a big event, and now we have to see, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, will that number hold on Netflix? Because, every week now, when a Monday comes around for the next 10 years, that big graphic, when you look at Netflix, every Monday is going to remind you to go to Raw. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah. Look at you. You started with numbers. I would have never started with numbers. Buddy, I don't care at all about numbers. I wanted to get started with the bits right away, starting with that opening video we got and the big curtain. And how did I know when that curtain dropped who would be in the ring? The guy that
Because it's always who's in the ring these days.
What was that video, Phil? And there's hills and there's faces and the faces come and then they're on. I'm like, what is this guy?
Yeah, he's like going,
saying?
hey, there's Hackenschmidt, and like they're just going all the way back to like the dawn of wrestling.
What was that? That was your Don Callis Hatchinsmith. God, gosh. No. The video was fine. I thought the video was a good way to start for like casual fans, but then when that curtain dropped, and I was like, of course we have to start the show.
This is his show.
We have to start the show with Triple H. Triple H has to hype up the crowd. He has to ask you guys.
Couldn't be your world champion who sat in the crowd for the first hour.
No, he's been asking you guys for a good Raw now. Are you ready? Are you ready?
you ready?
We're ready. We're ready.
We're
Paul.
so ready. We're locked
ready.
in.
We've
We're
been
here.
hearing about this for a year now. Yeah, we're ready.
We sold this place out in 3 weeks. We are ready, dog. We're ready. We're locked in. We're ready for Raw.
We're literally primed. We're drinking Prime in the crowd.
We're primed, dude.
We're
primed.
here.
Yeah. So,
Give it to me. Give me what I want. Give me the wrestling.
yeah. Well, we started with Triple H. No surprise. Credit Boy has to start the show.
Give my credit.
And then the funny thing, like the first hour or so, I was sitting there like, all right, get to what I came here for, the wrestling.
Yes.
So started with him. Then The Rock came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which then I thought that was even funnier. That like
You could have had The Rock start this thing.
you're gonna get this massive pop for The Rock, but no, Triple H had to start.
I'm getting the first pop. That's
I'm
what he was
getting
thinking.
out there first.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
getting
like,
this
it's
first
like the old
entrance.
Cody Rhodes, like Daddy eats first. Like,
Because he
Yeah.
was thinking like when they think of the Netflix era starting it, I have to be.
there you got to think of him.
It has to be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
no,
video. He starts the show like it's about him.
Look, it's smart branding. It's not, we can't sit here and say that it's not exactly what they want it to be.
Yeah, of course.
But again, like I think judging this, it goes back to what I said. Like judging this one episode is almost a fool's errand because it's not going to be what a normal week of Raw is, or what you're going to hope a normal week of Raw is.
Yeah, they were trying to make it more like a pay-per-view, and I immediately knew it was like a pay-per-view because I didn't see any black wrestlers.
Heyo.
But the Rock started the show, and this was a bit of a head scratcher. We've been getting the report for a while that he may not be involved in WrestleMania, and I felt like this, if you took nothing away from what he said, yeah, he ain't gonna be there, guys. He is not wrestling. He kind
A
of
lot of people seem to think it's like a fake out. Like, oh, he doesn't want you to think he's gonna be at WrestleMania, but then when we do the build up, he's got you.
Yeah, there was a report, I believe, Fightful Select posted a report of him meeting Cody at the Moana premiere, and they filmed something that they were going to air that never aired. But essentially what we got on the Raw Netflix debut is kind of what they aired of them reconciling. They tapped some cups together. They drank some Terramana. Everything's all good now.
They drunk and drove. Well, one of them did.
Yeah. Later
All these
on,
wrestlers sitting in the crowd. Like,
yeah. Later on, he came back and acknowledged Roman. So this was kind of seemed like him putting a bow on any of the storylines that he was going to advance from last year, and looks like this is it. Like The Rock will not be involved in WrestleMania. I'm assuming he might be there, but it does not seem like he's wrestling.
I love that there was like a whole the Bloodline saga. We went through pay-per-views. We went through all of this of Roman being like, "Acknowledge me," and in 1 second, The Rock's like, "I want to acknowledge my cousin, the Roman Reigns." I'm like, "That's so
like
funny."
the last time we saw these two wasn't the or this whole situation. Didn't we see The Rock and Cody like, "I want to hold it. Can I hold your belt?" Like, I want a clink belt. And then Cody was like, "Okay, I guess I'll hold your whatever belt this is." Like,
yeah, he's at the top of the ramp.
Muhammad Ali Memorial, but whatever. I don't know what that belt is.
Yeah, Rock's at the top of the ramp. He gives the dead man walking sign. He does that countdown, and we thought this was leading to something.
That was it.
And this kind of tells us, nope, this is it. He kind of went on and on. He did a lot of corporate spill stuff. Like he said, talked about the numbers, the crowd, and everything. And I said, yeah, he's completely out of character. It's over.
Well, yeah, that's how I knew it wasn't. This was Dwayne. This was not the final boss.
Yeah, this was not the heel character that we enjoyed last year. This was him back to being, hey guys, it's TV's Dwayne Johnson. Aren't you happy to see me?
TV's
Dwayne Johnson.
Like he's a cast member of Abbott
But
Elementary.
that's how it was, though. He was moving like that.
And look, I
You see
love
me
The
in
Rock.
that Always Sunny crossover? It's TV's Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, and I love The Rock, and so
I love him.
I was sitting there waiting, like I thought something great was going to happen, and then he just did all of the bits and he got up out of there. I was like, okay, so we need to start preparing for WrestleMania season without The Rock. It seems like they are full swing of that. We've seen multiple reports of what the matches could be for Cody, Seth Rollins, and a bunch of other guys. Dre kind of asked, and I have to pull this out. He said, "Did you want WWE to put out the New Day?" Yes, I did. They're one of the hottest heels on Raw right now.
Yeah.
They've been getting great reaction. They did this bit on the side where they said, "Hey, you guys like that Kendrick Lamar guy? He sucks. Why didn't you let him do that in the ring?" Like,
Yeah.
I would have liked to see them on the show. Yes, I would have. I know I think you're trying to be condescending, but yes, I did want to see them.
Yeah,
Because they're getting good reactions.
Right. They're one of the hottest heels on the brand. You dedicated a good amount of time throughout the year to them. What's going to be featured on this show moving forward? I think it would have been a great idea to put the New Day on there.
Go figure. They had one of the best heel turns of last year, and they had this great swerve with this Big E stuff, and they haven't really done anything with it since then.
Right.
So, yeah, I did want to see them.
And then all the bits that I saw them like that, and they had some other online clips, and I was like, "What? They're still getting super heat there too? It doesn't make sense. What's going on here?"
Put them in the ring. Let them do some in-ring stuff. I don't know. Give them a match.
Yeah, super weird. But The Rock was on the show. That is a black person, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So right after that, we got.
But yeah, boo The Rock. I don't want this Rock anymore. This is the Rock I didn't like. Is like he would come and do this corporate shilling shit, then he would leave. I want you to come out and cuss people out and talk about people's moms, call people crackheads. I like those bits.
Call people trailer park trash. Come on, man.
Those are
all of the stuff we
point
want.
at pictures of Dusty Rhodes and go, "Love you, hate your son." Like,
because the NXT bit the next day was even worse. Like he didn't even know what he was gonna say. He came out and was like, "I got 6 minutes." So I'm like, bro, what is this?
The stuff the next day was at least funny to me because there's the backstage stuff where he's talking to Ava. He's like, "Yo, Ava, what should I do?" And I'm like, "Why are you asking Ava what you should do?"
Yeah, why are you asking Ava? You're
You
the
gotta
Rock.
hate this man on TV all the time. He's like, "Ava, I don't know about this NXT crowd. Are they gonna like me?" Like,
She's like, "Dude, you're The Rock. Shut up. I don't even know why you're saying
you don't know what to do. But yeah, he goes out there. He's doing a lot of cursing. I was like, Rock, you're not on
CW, dude.
You're on broadcast TV. You can't do that. And then you can't go over your time. I'm like, dude, you got 10 minutes. You got to get to the bits, man. You can't go over the time, man.
He's still taking it in, smelling what The Rock's cooking, looking around. I'm like, dog, you got to get to it.
Are you saying, Phil, that he needs some time in NXT?
Apparently so, because he didn't know what to
That
do
was
in front of the crowd.
with The Rock. Like,
Hey, now that I think about it,
Dwayne needs a main event match with Obafemi.
now that I think about it, good training session for those trainees. They're like, look, watch this. Don't do anything that this guy does. Do the opposite of everything that he does out there.
Well, to Rock's credit, every time he has people enthralled. Every time he has people in the palm of his hand.
I was saying he wouldn't do it if people wouldn't want it.
But it's just like the Busta Rhymes "Look at Me Now" verse. He ain't saying nothing out there. He's just talking. It's just a bunch of words.
Yeah, but
that was my shot at Busta Rhymes because I hate that verse. I fucking hate that verse so much. It's
But
the worst hip hop verse. Not the worst hip hop verse, but the most overrated hip hop verse of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Look at me now. People think that because when people rap that, they think they're rapping something, and like I'm like, you're not saying anything, and like, sorry,
don't like fast rap.
Oh, it's like the Eminem thing. People see him talking every time he puts out a new album.
I was gonna say,
put
sorry,
out the track
man.
where he raps fast.
White people think that's the coldest verse that they ever heard. They're like, ever heard the Buster? I'm like, get out of my face.
I like to Look at Me Now verse. I don't know if I say it's one of the greatest ever, but you know.
Well, you know, everything's got to be the greatest ever. It's got to be the greatest ever or the worst ever. There's no gradients anymore.
It's all hip hop's fault too that that's a thing. So every time they get mad, I'm like, we did this.
Yeah. So
sorry, I went off track. My bad.
So about 30 minutes into the show, we finally get tribal combat. Solo Sikoa is taking on Roman Reigns for his big, what'd you call it, Vin? His pepper necklace.
Yeah, his pepper necklace.
Bell peppers.
For the Ula Fala and the right to be officially called the tribal chief.
Roman got some clean sneakers on. Like I'm
came out with the Prontos in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, rest in peace to Kobe, Mamba mentality.
Mm-hmm.
This match was pretty much what I expected. A lot of the pace was the same. We got a lot of the shenanigans, the interference bits.
Is this the end for the Bloodline feud, or do you think it's gonna continue?
That's the question.
Because I've been kind of sick of it for a little while now, where it's like I like all these guys involved, but it felt like okay, like War Games, like this. Okay, we're gonna end it at War Games, and then War Games happened, and it was like, we're gonna get you next time. It's almost like a cartoon, like a recurring like it's like an I'll get you next time, Solo. Like
they never put a bow on it, right? They're just like, all right, I'll see you next, see you later.
Well, this was about as big as a bow we're gonna get on it for now. Roman did pick up the win here. He is officially the tribal chief. At one point, that clip of Paulie outside dancing with the Ulafala.
Yeah, he's having the time
Roman is going back and forth, getting his shit off, and he's like doing his two-step with the Ulafala, holding it up. Hilarious stuff.
I want to cut back to that clip of him at the Hall of Fame this past year, where he's like, "If you think I'm done, I'm not. I'm just getting started." And they cut to him dancing with
Got to him jamming.
Yeah, but Roman is officially the tribal chief again. We got Kevin Owens popping up during this match at one point.
That was a sick transition because they kept doing the bits. Tama comes out and pulls out the ref at one point. Everybody's doing the thing. But the transition where Kevin Owens comes in with that stunner out of nowhere, I was like, this is some good work right here. I like that. Yeah. Cody comes out. I'm like, I don't know why Cody, because it's like they made a to-do about a couple weeks ago of like, Netflix really wants Cody Rhodes on the show, and then when he was just in the crowd during the Rock thing, I'm like,
what? Yeah, there he is.
Here? What do you mean? There's Cody Rhodes.
He was there drinking a beer.
And then so he comes out here to help out Roman, and I'm like, okay, this is a good bit. He's still helping out Roman, which is weird, but you should still see Cody Rhodes on the show. Some kind of action, you know?
Yeah, and then Tama Tonga ripped the Ulafala off. Was like, no one cares about this shit, and throws it at the wall. And...
He should have did that exact bit. That would have been great.
Imagine one of my favorite. I tell Phyllis all the time, my favorite Tama Tonga thing ever. It may be up there in my favorite Ring of Honor things ever. To be quite honest, is when they did the G1 Supercard. They won the title. They won the tag titles. They were the New Japan and the Ring of Honor tag winners. And they go in the back room, and Tama Tonga takes the Ring of Honor title and goes, nobody cares about this Ring of Honor tag.
Throws it right on the
noise
right at the wall. The noise it made.
They were mad at Enzo and Kaz, huh?
Yeah, that was right. So they interrupt because I was there live. No, I can tell. Yeah, so we're all okay. So we're all in agreement that not only did that derail the show, if you're there live, nobody knew what was going on. Like you couldn't. Most of the crowd couldn't see what was going on. Like,
it just looked like a big hoopla down there, and people started reacting. But I was so far away, I didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Yeah, I know what was going. I was upset that they kind of took the steam away from the Zack Sabre match that was happening after that.
Right.
What a weird show. It was kind of like, hey, all of this New Japan stuff is great. Here's some wonky Ring of Honor stuff that you might also be interested in.
Some weird shenanigans in the middle of this great wrestling show.
And what's funny is before the pandemic happened, I think like even just like a couple weeks before it like a week or two before it happened, New Japan announced they were going to do a show at Madison Square Garden, just them, and that show was going to be called Wrestle Dynasty.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
that's some trivia.
Yeah.
Stick that in your humper chats.
Yeah, fun show, but yeah, tribal conflict was what it was. I'm pretty much ready to move forward with this. I'm ready for Roman to do something else. I'm ready for Solo to do something else. So I was fine with this. Didn't blow me away. Then we got some more talking segments. That's what we wanted to get. A lot of talking segments. We got 4 matches in total on the show out of 3 hours, which I think my biggest complaint, if there's a complaint, is that if this is the way to introduce a new audience to your product, you're going to get new people watching it. This didn't feel like what Raw usually is. It didn't feel like, hey, here are a bunch of stories. Come back next week to see how this turns out. It just felt like, hey, look, here's this victory lap. We got the Netflix deal. Hey, here's The Rock. He probably won't be here next week, but don't worry about that. Here's John Cena. Oh, he probably won't be here next week either, but don't worry about that. It's just, I'm like,
Undertaker also not going to be here next
Yeah.
week.
like give us stuff that's gonna like conclude and like make people want to continue to watch this. You know what you tell us all the time is the longest running episodic series, and so I thought like there wasn't enough story stuff at like with this to be like, oh yeah, great, can't wait to see where this is going.
No, because they've made it very clear that they're all about the moments. So they want to rack up moments that are going to get people talking. Oh my God, you see the Undertaker showed back. Oh, yeah, CM Punk had a match in the main event with Seth Rollins. Like, what happened before that? I don't know, but they're going to tell someone about that one CM Punk moment.
No, but yeah, so so the just in succession getting all of these things, getting Triple H, Rock, Roman match, Cena. All right. And the Cena stuff, I guess you can say that there was stuff that there's to be interested in there because he officially declared for the Royal Rumble. First man to declare for it. He vowed he's going to win the Royal Rumble. He's going to try and break Ric Flair's record, which I think is the best way to use him going forward in 2025. If this is his last year, I think that's the best way to use him because you can set up the matches with Cody or possibly Gunther or whoever else is champion. But
okay, I need a percentage from you. I'm going to put you on the spot. You know what my dream is for this last run. John Cena versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. I keep saying
0%.
I'm not an idiot. I know it's very like I know what the odds are. Don't get me wrong, but I
Might be in the negatives at this point.
It might be in the negative, but if it's going to happen, Tanahashi's the man to make it happen, and I absolutely believe there's only one way it happens, which would be Tanahashi going to WWE to do it. And Tanahashi's the kind of guy where he doesn't mind taking a loss. So he will lose to Cena clean if need be. But I'm saying there's a 0.5% chance.
yeah,
I'm leaving the door
Generous.
I'm not even opening the door. That little space under the door to let air in, like that's my percentage of that happening.
Ain't no Bruno Mars playing, dog. That door closed, dog.
That door is very close. Yeah, I mean, the reason I wasn't mad about the Cena bits is because, like what Phil's saying, like this is what we want out of the run. He's saying things that people have been saying. Like, of course, people want him to be in the Rumble. They want him to have a big WrestleMania match. They want him to do this is his last year. Like, let's do it. Let's do all the matches. Let's close all the doors. Let's finish all the chapters. Like, we want John Cena to come out here and do this, and he should be on this Netflix show because he's going to be here for the next year,
Yeah, and I mean, if anything, you could say for this is great promotion for Royal Rumble. It's going to get people to watch. If you're saying this is going to be John Cena's last Royal Rumble match, sure, I understand. It's just in succession getting all of these things, and it's like, oh, another talking segment.
Get that tag team with him and LA Knight up and running again.
No, man, because you think this Tanahashi thing is happening. He's going to go join Hantai, man. He's going to be...
Oh, imagine. I would love nothing more than John Cena and Taguchi to start bumping butts and like doing hip tosses. And...
Bumping butts is crazy.
That's what they were going to... that's what they'll do.
Though. They would bump butts, though.
He's the funky weapon. What do you think he's talking about? His ass is the funky weapon.
Yeah, but... Yeah, John Cena stuff. John Cena coming out there initially and doing the sad dog routine of, guys, I haven't won a match, and I hate to break it to you, but I might not be able to win a world championship again. I have a better chance of doing that, winning an Oscar. You guys, I don't have to tell you, which I thought all of this stuff was funny. But, again, this was just a lot of talking for me, and I was looking around like, man, get to the Graps.
I'm like, damn, they're still talking, you guys. This is crazy.
Hey, it's still in the ring talking right now.
Right.
Yeah, but I do not think that John Cena is going to win the Rumble, by the way. I don't think so either. Him pledging to win the Rumble kind of tells me he's not going to win it.
He'll find another way. They'll sneak him in.
They'll find a way.
So often they've done that thing where someone's like, I'm going to win the Rumble. And then it's like, now I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber. And it's like, okay, well, now you've given them another out. Like,
yeah. But
and then it's John Cena. It doesn't matter. He could be like, give me a shot at the title. This is WrestleMania. And they'll say, yeah.
Yeah, remember that one year where he was like, "Oh, they didn't give me a match, so I'm just gonna sit in the crowd." Like, what do you mean they didn't give you a match? Like, just ask for a match. You're
Ask
John
for one.
Cena.
That was the year he got the Taker match because he was
Right.
sitting in the crowd and he was like, "All
Then
right,
he
Undertaker,
sprinted
you
up.
gonna show up?" Or
Yeah,
yeah,
he
that was
dropped
great.
his
We kept
popcorn and ran up the.
we kept getting the reactions from him. He was like, "Oh, that
taking
happened. That's kind
selfies
of cool."
of people.
He'd be like, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a thing. That was so weird.
But that's the other thing about this show that I noticed right away. I don't know if it was just me. This felt like it was more trying to sell people on the live experience of going to a WWE show more than trying to sell them on it as an episodic series. It was like, hey, look how fun this show is. Like, when you come here and be a part of the WWE experience, like, look at all the celebrities here. Look, we're having fun. Look at all the music and look at all the big pops. And, like, yeah, come and buy a ticket.
It's like a big UFC show. It's not like a big wrestling show. They're celebrities. They're panning to the crowd. The lights are all different.
Yeah.
The experience, like it, they definitely.
Don't you want to be here? Don't you want to be just like Gabriel Iglesias? And
You want to be just
Macaulay
like Fluffy?
Culkin?
Get in here with like Macaulay Culkin, Fluffy. John Stewart is probably back there somewhere.
If we learned anything else from this show, Hulkamania has been over, but buddy, Hulkamania is alive and well in the hearts of the American children everywhere. This guy got a massive pop. Big Coke was outside, buddy. He did his little reveal with the hat. I was like, nah, man. Big Coke outside.
It made a lot of sense. A couple weeks after Christmas, like he's fresh in people's minds. People are like, I just saw this guy a lot of times about 2 weeks ago. This guy is over. No, he's continuously. He's been continuously over for like the last 30 plus years. My entire life, this guy has been over. He'll never not be over. Sorry, Hogan. It's Hulkamania, baby.
Hulkamania. He's the party monster.
Nah, man. He should do like a whole promo after it. Now based off the Home Alone character. Everybody eat your pizza, stop some bad guys, drink some Pepsi. Hulkamania's running raw.
Hulkamania, baby.
But yeah, at one point I was looking around like this just feels like a long commercial.
It's a big
for
commercial.
The live experience of going to a wrestling show, and that's not even a bad thing. It's just not necessarily what I want to see watching Raw. But
with the big Saudi commercial in the middle too, I was like, "This is it's going crazy. It's going
Riyadh,
crazy over here, Phil."
Season, baby.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That commercial.
Royal Rumble in Riyadh.
Riyadh is one of the promotions on the mat now.
Riyadh season, baby.
The Hulk Hogan American beer. I was like, oh. Ooh.
I do like the black mat, but what's displayed on the black mat, not a fan.
Well, it's like I told everyone, like when they started doing these Saudi shows back in like 2018, 19, that like, watch, these are going to be their house shows right now. Yeah. They're glorified house shows now. But like, you wait, they're gonna start integrating in like, okay, we'll have a title match on this next card, and then okay, we tested the waters there. Now we'll maybe we'll do a pay-per-view over there. So now this is that next step. Remember when it first started, and a lot of people were like, I'm boycotting, or if people were doing a live stream, like, well, we're gonna donate the money to charity or whatever. It's like, I want to see where those people are at now.
My question is, aren't those paid shows? Like, you can't buy a ticket if you're in Riyadh, right, to go to those. How do those things work? I don't really understand.
I'm not sure how that works either, but I've been thinking this for a while, but this confirmed what I thought. We're going to get a WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. It's
facts.
Huge
facts.
It's inevitable.
When the first time they did those shows, didn't they want, like, wrestlers that weren't even alive anymore?
Yeah, they wanted Yokozuna.
They wanted Yokozuna, like...
Yeah,
it was like Mr. Burns putting together a softball team.
Huge facts, Phil. You know the amount of money they've already offered for WrestleMania. Like, imagine what it's coming.
There's going to be a WrestleMania Saudi someday. It's happening.
Like 27. How many have they announced so far? Because the one that they ain't announced is going to be out there for sure.
Yeah. Double Kazuya is saying that you can't buy tickets to the show. Tickets are discounted for Saudi citizens.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. What we got other chats. We got who's been paying money.
This goes along to what we were talking about. Happy Fuck Hulk Hogan Day to those who celebrate. Every day is that day. It's not just one day though.
So So we got the Liv and Rhea match before Hulk came out, and
It was fine.
I've been so ready for this storyline to end for so long.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm
Hurry.
fine with it because it's like, okay, this has run its course.
The
Again, it's
my
another
pro-
thing where it's another, not to cut you off, but it's another thing where I thought this ended like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, well, it surprised it didn't. It's like, okay, well, now we're going to do the belt thing. Okay.
Like now it's I sent to the group chat. I was like, the issue that I have is this has been going on for so long, and these two women don't have the best chemistry together. Like you would think for two wrestlers that they've had enthralled in a feud for like a year and a half, it feels at this point, that when the matches came, you'd be like, these are hitters, but they're never really big hitters. And these women both work so well with everybody else. When you see like Liv locked in with somebody else, you're like, yeah. When you see Rhea go at it with someone else, it makes more sense. But they just got these women locked in. So I'm like, okay. I felt like they were going to crown Rhea a few months ago at like Survivor Series or something, but they stretched it. This big moment, like it made sense that they did it like this.
Yeah, this was a feud that it feels like kept going because they had something hot with their audience. The audience liked the storyline. It did very well on social media, so we got to keep it going. But the matches itself were never like the real standout of this feud. They never were like, oh, I got to see this match. And this was the same thing. It was just like, all right, like by the end of it, like yes, end this for good. Have both of these wrestlers doing something else. Because I don't know, man. When Liv was on SmackDown and she interacted with Nia and other wrestlers, I was like, yeah, just
exactly
let her do something else, man. Because
that felt fresh.
Like she needs some fresh opponents. Rhea absolutely needs some fresh opponents. She needs some new feud. So I'm very much glad this feud was over. Like I said, the match was fine.
Big pop for her win and everything. Like it made sense.
Yeah. Big pop for her win. Then we got American Badass.
Then it got weird. I was like, okay, Undertaker's coming out during her celebration. And so she mouths into the camera like, I can't believe this is happening, or like, I can't believe this or something. And so Undertaker comes out, rides his motorcycle around the ring before even talking to her, like before even looking at her, he's already riding around the ring.
I'm going to get my shit off.
I'm like, what's happening here? And then he stops right next to her and does his pose. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Phil, can you explain to me? I don't understand why, what happened here? Was he giving her his approval? We already approved by Rhea Ripley at this point.
This felt like we need another Attitude Era wrestler on the show. We need another big cameo. Look, hey, remember this thing you really loved? It's The Undertaker. He comes out, does the American Badass music, rides his motorcycle around in a circle, comes around, basically endorses Rhea Ripley. They both do throw their hand in the air, like at the end of Breakfast Club. And then
don't you forget about me. And they just go.
Literally, like, don't forget we have the Undertaker.
Don't forget about me. I'm the Undertaker. Do not forget.
Then they do their turn to the camera like the Brothers of Destruction used to do, where Brothers of Destruction used to do like
I didn't know what was happening.
The bad bitch pose where they turn around.
Yeah.
In the mirror, make the ass look good. All right, no, I see you.
I mean, now that Rhea's doing it, it makes a little bit more sense. But
it does,
yeah, they turned around, did the look at the camera. Rhea's very excited about this. Big pop for both of them. And this is what's funny to me about every time people are like, oh, but they didn't boo the Undertaker. Okay, but they had the Undertaker come out where you didn't allow him to talk. His music never went off, and so
he's posing with the person you guys just had a gigantic pop for.
The crowd is reacting. The crowd is reacting to the entrance like they always do, and it's Rhea. Rhea is super over with that crowd. They're not gonna boo Rhea. They're not gonna boo Taker coming out there with Rhea. It's just a different thing. So every time people are like, "But they didn't boo Taker," it's just not the same situation.
They set him up way different than they set up.
Yeah, you as always, you protect Taker's mystique, and that's always what they do with him. Now
he does it though.
The other part about it is
he be on that podcast giving it up. I'm like, they protected your mystique for 30 years. Why are you doing this? But I get it, money and stuff.
Yeah. The other part about it is how many people outside of a certain bubble listen to the Undertaker's podcast. Like wrestling fans and like certain people listen to the podcast. But stuff he's saying on there, a lot of people are not going to hear. Taker saying stuff on there and endorsing Trump, having Trump on there, saying the things he did about transgender people. People are not going to – a lot of people didn't see that. But when you've got Hulk Hogan in comparison on a national stage endorsing this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit different. And
He
then
wore
had
the
that-
shirt off the
at
jet
the
and
RNC,
everything.
ripping his shirt off, like,
Yeah,
and
that's-
hollering, like
Yeah, that's a bit
saying
different.
he's gonna body slam Kamala through a table.
Yeah,
Like,
different, very different.
Yeah, this just different. But I thought this was a cool look for Rhea. It made Rhea look like a big star. I don't think that we need to take her here, but again, what do I know? I know this is obligatory cameo for the night. By the time Hogan came out, we knew Hogan was coming out, of course, because this thing was very highly publicized. We got that IG clip from him of him hopping fresh off the jet with Jimmy Hart in the background. He's got the MAGA shirt on. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
and then the clip of where he's like getting people. He's got Rey Mysterio doing a beer with him. Like,
Yeah, that was after he got booed, apparently.
Yeah.
but- so he comes out, and soon as his interest starts, I was just like, "Oh, I don't see this going good." And then you can hear the smattering of boos, and it just
when
got
the
louder.
closed captioning says crowd boos.
Booze. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's art.
Yeah.
Like I would go to a
Art.
museum to see that crowd booze over Hulk Hogan. Like I would go to a museum and observe that. Like that's art to me.
yeah. That sounds hilarious. That like that violin music that they put over a lot of the museum scenes.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there like,
I'm just like observing. Like,
booze. Provocative.
The violin, it just hit me, that music.
crowd booze. Provocative. I'm just observing. My glasses are down low. I'm just like little notepad. Yeah, man, it's great. It was beautiful to me. But yeah, they set this guy up like. It's in LA. He's coming down. They did the slow. You prepared us for this. He came down in that shirt off the jet. So his music hits. He starts talking, and the crowd's like, "Nah, we don't want
it
this.
came down.
We don't want this."
Yeah, I mean, and the big part about it that makes it worse is he had nothing to promote here. It's not like he's a part of any storylines. It's not like he's a part of endorsing anybody or putting anybody over. Hey,
he's
I'm
got
here to
that
put.
stupid beer.
He's shilling.
I'm here to show this beer, and I'm here to hype up how important I was to WWE. This is a big deal. It is more like corporate shield stuff, and it's like, well, nobody cares, man. This is
And now he's like
Shield-
bringing up people that we actually. He's like, Andre, brother. I'm like, don't bring Andre into this.
Yeah.
Keep us out of this.
It just felt like a big waste of time. Now, this was funny because we got the usual discourse of why is Hogan getting booed? That happens every time now when he gets booed. This made it all the way to CNN. I saw it on Variety, and
Because he's a racist. That's why he's getting booed. And again, like we talked about at the top, it's not even just that he said the N-word. Because if it would have been, and again, we're being very generous about this, if it would have just been 15 years ago he was caught on tape saying the N-word, there's plenty of points where he could have had some contrition, shown that, whatever. He could have rectified the situation for his own benefit. But at every single turn where he could have made some sort of amendment. Remember when he was backstage at Raw and they were like, oh, Hogan's doing an apology to the guys in the back.
oh, do I?
And that apology was just him basically going like, listen, brother, they got cameras everywhere now. You can't be caught. Like, they got these things called cell phones. It's like, okay, like that's not why you should be giving an apology.
Not what
though.
this was.
Yeah.
And then like the stuff he said about like when his, like the clips of him talking to his son, when his son got in that accident and killed someone. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's
A lot of
in
stuff.
Hogan's backlog.
Yeah, his apology wasn't good, and I mean, it would have been hard to really apologize and get people to think you meant it after saying something like that on tape. But the fact that the apology wasn't good, and the fact that it didn't seem like a lot of the black wrestlers were thrilled with him being a part of the show or thrilled with him in general, that wasn't good. And then so much stuff has continued to happen since then. If it was, it's crazy to think, but if it was just that, maybe that would have eventually died down. Some people wouldn't have cared as much. But when you watch all these documentaries and you see him on there, he was just on the Mr. McMahon doc, and that brought back up the stuff with him being an anti-union guy and the stuff he did like him being a big stooge, like, and people were like, oh, this guy sucks. And him also being very much like, oh, Vince McMahon is going to come back to wrestling in a time where the company is trying to get away from Vince McMahon. And he's still very much like, hey, I like Vince. And it's like, well, hold on. Hold on. And then you add to that the political stuff, of course. Within the past, 4 or 5 months, him showing up at the RNC, that video coming out of him at that show where he said those things about Kamala that sounded pretty racist. The thing that came out about the black model that wanted to model for the beer company and she got discriminated against. So it's a bunch of combinations of things, but I saw people immediately trying to go, it's not political, guys. His politics were a big part of this. You can't take that part out. There was a big part of it. And I would even venture to say, when you say it's a combination of things, when you see all these things in totality, he's the stereotypical MAGA guy. Like, everything about him, like, stereotypical.
He just kind of is who he always was. Like, he's a politicker, phony.
This song is fucking real American, you guys. Like, he come down with the big flag, fucking playing guitar. Like, he is American as they come. My thing has always been, like, I've hated this motherfucker since 1993 WrestleMania 9. Like, anything beyond that, like that day when he screwed over Bret Hart, I've been mad at him since that day. But like, if I'm a black Hulk Hogan fan, a black Hulkamaniac that's been my whole life, he's only apologized in private. He's never came out and been like, hey, all you black Hulkamaniacs, really sorry for what you might have heard, blah, blah, blah. Never. He's never said one word. So why the fuck would I want to watch this bald motherfucker say anything ever? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, he's apologized to who? Like, there's a legion of people that should be apologized to. Still.
Yeah. And it should be said, there are a lot of fans that still like Hogan. There are black fans that still like Hogan.
There are.
But I just think in that setting with where you just came off, where people being uneasy coming into January, you're getting ready to swear this guy back in the office, and then you bring this guy out in L.A.,
we saw you on stage with them, fucking hulking up. Dude, what do you mean? You think we're about to cheer for you?
That was not going to go well with where people are, like the uneasiness around politics and uneasiness around, a lot of conversations right now. People did not want to see Hulk Hogan. This was very tone deaf, but this very much felt like WWE feeling untouchable right now. Our product is hot. People are buying tickets to our show. So
go sell this beer. It'll be fine, dude. It's hot.
And they've rolled them out every couple. Remember, like, they paired him with Alexa Bliss at the WrestleMania and like brought him out. Like,
Titus O'Neil was one time they were together. They keep trying to put him in these different situations. Just interesting, funny, weird, because they keep gaining like these good bits and being in these good eyes, having these good houses, all these things. But then they do things like this. McMahon puts out his statements. It's like all these things that are like, it's weird over here. It's interesting and it's weird. And they still do some things like the Hogan bit that I feel like have things totally changed. I don't think they have.
No, I mean, putting out all of the news that people are not going to be happy about around.
That day, that was crazy.
That was crazy. Announcing the Royal Rumble in Riyadh, and then announcing the partnership with Hogan's Beer same day. Like, hey, let this get lost in all the other exciting news. Like, here's some things you might not be happy about. But crazy. I saw people after this saying, "This is it. This is the death of Hulk Hogan. They'll never bring him back."
No, they'll try.
Fools.
Wrong.
You
they
fools.
Will try.
He'll be back. He'll be back, and I would venture to say the response to this tells me specifically he'll be back. The fact that this made it on CNN, the fact that this was on so many outlets, they don't see this as bad press. They're like, wait, they talked about the show.
Yep.
It's bad press for Hogan. It ain't bad press for us. That's probably how they're looking at it. Like,
they're just telling me that they're going to bring this fool out in Hollywood Hogan gear so he could get booed and it work. Like, come on, what do you guys think this is, man? This is Hogan. That'll never be the end of Hogan. This company was built on his back. That's what they think.
Yeah. If there was ever going to be a time where it's going to be the end of Hogan, it was when they tried to act like they were going to take him out of the history books, take him out of Hall of Fame and everything. Since he's been back, No, this tells me everything you need to know. They never truly wanted to back away from Hogan. They just felt like they had to. And now, like, it's back to business. We're doing good business again. We're hot again. Hogan will be back.
Yes.
If you think Hogan is not going to be back, you are fooling yourself, man. He will be back.
So
He'll
fast.
be back. He'll get booed again, but he'll be back.
They're having Royal Rumble in Riyadh. Like, bring him out there. You think them fans are gonna boo Hogan? Absolutely not.
Yeah, he'll be back, and I would not be surprised if you're right. He comes out with the NWO stuff. Hollywood Hogan gets booed, and they act like, see, this is the intended reaction.
He's a bad guy, of course. NWO, you don't remember? You remember? Yeah, no, I remember.
We got Travis Scott, which was cool because Travis Scott was a big part of the promotion for this. Travis Scott seeming like he didn't know where he was, and him just like taking this big pull out of this blunt and then going, yeah, let's go, let's do this. Jay's doing his entrance. The Jay entrance still hits. That crowd was
crazy.
super hot for him. One of the most over babyface in the company. So dope to see that. But like him walking down with Travis, and Travis is next to him, like looking around at things and like yelling at the sky, like, oh! I'm like, yo, what's going on? Does he know
with his hardcore belt? I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
Travis Scott don't know what this is.
Yo,
They just,
very
they just
funny.
gave him a belt. Like, yeah, hold this.
Very funny stuff. Jay at certain points like looking at like, yeah, like, come on, let me hold something.
Let me hit that.
Let me get a little eat.
Very happy for Jay that did not happen on TV. I think he would have got a great reaction from the LA crowd if he did it. But I'm sure
Definitely.
that
Sponsors
WWE,
would not have liked that.
yeah, WWE and their sponsors probably wouldn't have been thrilled about one of their wrestlers smoking weed on television.
Their spine, all real American beer would have been upset at Jey Uso.
Real American beer.
Hey, we don't like those type of things. We don't like that kind of controversy. No, I mean, like,
I don't like what that man was doing over there.
if anything's cool about Netflix, the debut of Netflix, seeing one of the hottest rappers in the world smoking a blunt on the show, accompanying a wrestler in LA while the crowd goes absolutely mental, was like, okay, this feels like what this should be. This is how they should have started the show. This is like, This is what WWE is. This is what we're going to be from week to week, having Jey Uso, one of our most over guys, in a match against one of his hottest rivals. Like, this is when it felt like it kicked into gear. Pat McAfee saying, can I hit it, to Travis Scott and being ignored. Very funny too.
Michael Cole trying to do the
him and Michael Cole trying to do the thing on the table. Hilarious.
Cole looking very out of breath when he got up there.
He was so tired.
Very, very offbeat. But he tried, man.
He tried.
The drone shot of coming around to it was very funny.
Oh, that was great.
The drone shot was so funny.
The drone shots were really cool in
Those
general.
are dope.
I thought the presentation of the show was cool, like the new lighting, the new set design. I thought all of that stuff.
Listen, you gotta get all four angles of that curtain.
Yes.
You gotta get that drone flying around that curtain.
Yeah, and I thought they made the best use of like the technology and the Intuit Dome as well. I thought all of that stuff was well, but that's what they do well. They when they put the machine behind something and they want to hype up something, they do that better than anybody else.
I mean, that's their bread and butter. You can't out Pizza the Hut. Never forget. There was the moment when they got into the ring, and again, Travis Scott was still confused as to where he was and what he was doing. But then he gets on the rope and he's like, "Oh no, it's lit out here! Like, you guys are excited. This is a great time." I was like, "This is a crazy ass visual." And not for nothing, like Phil said, Jey Uso still so fucking over, massively over.
Yeah,
very, very over. The match with Drew was what it was. It was fine. Yeah. I feel like I keep saying it, but none of these matches really blew me away.
No,
they were good for what they were. I just wanted more of it.
But they kind of built it up like a WrestleMania type. I thought the matches would reflect that, and they were just like, they were Raw matches still. And like,
well, I heard people saying like these were pay-per-view quality matches all over the show. It's like, well, Raw main event matches all over the show.
They were definitely television.
Fine.
They were television matches. I think in terms of like, they were pay-per-view quality matchups. I don't know if I would say them
matchups.
Yeah, matchups.
Like, but I thought this match was cool. When Jay won with the roll up, I was like, oh, okay.
Blood feud. Let's end it like that. All right, okay.
but it's because you got to go back to it. Of course,
Right.
Drew's gonna get another match. He's gonna probably beat him next time. And all of that stuff is fine. I think more of it is just like hangover from Wrestle Kingdom weekend and just seeing all of this great wrestling for 3 days and then turning this on and being like, hey, more wrestling. And it's like, wait, no, not more wrestling. Which is fine. Like their brand of wrestling and like what they do well. But man, in comparison to what I like about that and what my preferences are, it didn't quite hit the same.
It's so confusing, Phil, because I watched NXT the next day, and the 2 women matches that started the show blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, they're great.
And I was thinking about that Rhea and Liv match. I was all, they're putting this on TV when this could be on there.
I've been telling people, like, if you've been skipping out on NXT, it's an easy watch. Like, it's a fun, easy watch most weeks. Like, listen, it's a volume show. It's a
volume show.
But yeah, it goes up, it goes down. But it's a good, like,
He's
if
a
you
volume
want to
shooter.
see, like, yeah, like if you want to see, like, they brought in some great established talent.
Because every time I'm like, all right, let me watch this show. It's a Lexus King match, and I'm like, you know what? What else is on?
Well, look, we can't account for Lexus King. That's just. He's doing his own thing with Charlie.
I love
Dempsey
him because he's like, I don't want to do anything like my dad. I hate that motherfucker. And he comes out with the cane like his dad. He poses like his dad. Wears a jacket like his dad. I'm like, but
these are
okay.
all of the these are bits. These are the bits.
All right. But yeah, just a contrast of like what they can produce quality wrestling. They just choose not to.
That's not what the show is for. And I understood that, but that's why I also understand, like, you know, it's fine to be like, some things are not for me, and what, like, the audience this is intended for, I'm not really in that.
No, that's why you got to download the CW app so you can watch NXT. Which was the first time I ever downloaded the CW app, and I was like, what the hell is that? What is on this? What is
you weren't using it to watch the Flash TV series?
I was using everything to watch the Flash TV. Well, okay, to be completely honest, we're going to have a conversation about the Flash, which I guess we now are. That first season of The Flash,
it was great.
It could be its own miniseries. Like, it is one of the maybe the best superhero like seasons of television ever. It's damn near perfect. What I love about it is the pacing. Like, every time you get a new mystery, they don't wait until the end of the season to string you along. You're constantly getting new pieces to the puzzle of, who Harrison Wells is and all that. And then season 2 came out, and I was like, this is still good. Like, it wasn't as great as season 1, but it was good. Mm-hmm. Then season 3 happened, and it kind of like I don't want to say it fell off a cliff, but they did like 8 more seasons after that, and each season was just like, we got a new guy who runs really fast. It's like, great. Give me something else. Like, give me Gorilla Grodd. Give me some, like, what is it? Like, all these speeds? Eventually. But, like, it was just every new bad guy just like, I run fast. It's like,
run, Barry, run.
Yeah, run, Barry, run. Like, great. I'm glad you're giving Tony Todd work. But, like, make him something better. Bring the Candyman in, for God's sake. You're going to bring him in. Like, don't make him another speedster. Like,
he's fast.
Yeah. He's fast, like, but this time he runs backwards through time. It's like, fucking end it already.
Very uneven show. I started very good. I think it trailed off towards the end, but very good television show at one point.
Yeah, it's like Arrow. Arrow's the same. Like, that first season of Arrow was like, wow, great choreography, like great stunt work. Like, they really, like, for a show that had a smallish budget, like, you can tell where they put the money into, and like they used it sparingly and wisely. And then after like season 3, they just kept going back to, what was that play? Panda Express or whatever the fuck they
Panda Express.
Namby Pamby or whatever
I didn't watch that show.
Arrow fans know what I'm talking about. Send some humper chats about Flash and Arrow. Give these guys money. Come on, it's a new year. I know you all have a little Christmas cash. Mm-hmm. Give Reg and Phil a little money.
Mm-hmm. This was the Jay and Drew stuff was fine. Got through that. We got some more talking. Main event was, of course, what I wanted to see the most. Seth Rollins taking on CM Punk. This was, to me, the best match on the show just because the way that it was built up, the pacing of the match. Seth kind of did a lot of the high-intensity stuff this match. He came in, like, dominating at one point. He was going for every move he could pull out. He hit him with one of the most brutal GTSs we've seen in quite a while. Like, it looked like he really landed that knee, really laid it in. I was like, okay.
Listen, there's some animosity and some history behind some of it. There's definitely, like, I think they talked in and they were like, there's going to be some potatoes in here. Like, we know what time it is. Like, we've been talking a lot of shit for a lot of years. Let's do it.
That knee, like that, man.
Yeah.
Not even Tony Nese has knees like that.
Tony knees. Get these Tony knees.
Get these Tony knees.
Yeah, he hit him with that GTS, and Punk rolls out the ring. And I was not, because at first I was like, oh man, he really laid that in. And then as soon as Punk rolls out the ring, Seth jumps on him, and he's like talking cash shit to him. He's like, yeah, this is my show. I built this. He's like all in his face afterwards. I'm like, yo, this is hilarious.
Seth's been waiting for this for so long. I think this represented, like, I felt good about this. Felt like the Jay thing earlier of like, this is what Raw's going to be moving forward. Two guys that have been embedded in a feud for months, sometimes years, some would say, locked in a hot match with actual wrestling in it. Crazy.
Yeah.
Hit him with the big superplex spot, and usually Rollins rolls him up and then hits the Falcon Arrow right after that. Punk countered it, GTS. He did the same spot. People noticed from the All Out match.
Very interesting.
All Out match with Mox.
He wore that same jacket.
Very interesting. It's a sick finish though. I like that spot.
Yeah, and he did. You're right. He did he wore the same jacket that he wore from All In, his last AEW match.
Yeah, a jacket last seen in security footage.
Yeah, I've seen those 3 X's before.
Yeah, I've seen those 3 Chris Heroes.
But yeah, I dug the finish here. I like the finish when they used it in AEW with Mox as well, where Punk comes out of the superplex, hits him with the GTS, but he could barely stands up, draped over him, picks him up again, GTS, 1, 2, 3. Punk kind of sneaks by, and I think that was the story of this match, that he did beat Rollins, but he narrowly got out of there, and him laying on the ropes afterwards like, yep, I got you. And the look on Rollins' face like, hey, this motherfucker. All great stuff. Punk afterwards walking up the ramp, getting his shit off. The best kind of Punk when he's like this, when he's in his mode, he's in his bag. Best kind of Punk. Gave a shout out to Chris Bay, which I love to hear. That was dope.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought this was a great way to end the show. I thought the main event delivered. I thought the stuff that wasn't for me, I was like, whatever. But I think there was a lot here. If you're a lapsed fan, I can't see you going to pull this up and go, oh, I'm going to be back in wrestling. But I just think, like, the longer this is on Netflix, the more people are going to be like, oh, that's right, it is on Netflix. I could just turn it on. And really, a bit of my issue with the show, again, is not so much that, oh, this isn't for me. It's like, all right, well, if you're telling me this is for casual fans and this is for lapsed fans, what out of this show is going to get them to tune in next week? Because all of this stuff, you've kind of finished it. You've kind of reset all of these things back to a place where there is no cliffhanger at the end of this show, where it's like, oh, man, I have to see what happens. Like, all of this stuff kind of puts you in a reset.
It's vibes, because they want people to watch and go, that's a party. And that's a party I want to be a part of. And they're going to hope that they tune in, next week.
It's definitely vibes. Vibes wrestling.
I'm on your side, Phil. Of course, a lot of this wasn't for me, but who was it for, though?
It was for people who wanted a few feuds wrapped up, and then to see the other wrestlers in the crowd drinking beer and
Because like even their core, I feel wasn't really satisfied. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even give it up to the people that are
I think
dedicated
their core.
to the
I think
show.
their core. I think their core was
loved
very
it.
satisfied.
Well, they're fucking.
That's because that was going to be my immediate response to you is that who is this for? This was for people that already love the product.
People that don't like wrestling. Oh, got you.
Okay.
That's crazy.
No,
It's a different way of going about wrestling. They're all about the moments, Reg. They're all about the
Who needs wrestling? I like this. Where was Stone Cold?
Where was he?
Yeah, this is for
Like
people
playing
that
with his
already.
cat.
This is for people that already love the product. I feel like, and this is for people that
it's not to cut you off, but I guess I do mean to cut you off, but there's when we talk about this being a victory lap, the fans of WWE and specifically Raw, a lot of them want the victory lap. A lot of them want to feel like, hey, we're on a winning team.
You're right.
Like, hey, what I watch is the hot thing, and we're celebrating this hot thing that I like.
Yeah,
because they do be talking like that. Like we did this. I'm like, all right.
They want a big event. They want a spectacle, and that's what this was. This was This was a lot of flash, and so this is what they like. This is for people that, like I said, already enjoy the product, or if you already enjoy the product, but you might not be watching regularly. And it's an advantageous time because usually a lot of the casual fans, they come back by Royal Rumble, and then like they'll watch throughout WrestleMania season, and then there's like a down peak, and it's kind of this cycle of people that watch around a specific time every year, and then they come back. So it's kind of a good way to go, hey, look, we've got this spectacle on Netflix. It's easy to watch. You can just pull it up here. Yeah, again, not really my cup of tea in pits. I thought it was kind of meh. I agree that in terms of matches, NXT was the better show, but
I mean, it was easy as hell to watch though, and it didn't buffer. It didn't go out. Like watching wrestling is the easiest it's ever been in history.
No, I didn't have to see Mike Tyson's butt.
Didn't have to see Mike's butt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it went off. I think as great as they could imagine. I'd feel. You know what I mean? Like for putting that Into It Dome show together in a couple weeks, getting The Rock to be there. Like this was what WWE is.
yeah, man, look, this is what it is, man. We're doing record gates. We're still doing the Riyadh stuff.
Big numbers, big boys.
We're on Netflix, big partnership. Hey, the stuff that was announced afterwards with the numbers, again, I'm not a ratings or numbers guy. I don't really care about that. But you cannot deny at this point that WWE is thriving. So great for them. I think that's good for wrestling on the whole. When you think of like exposure for wrestling, you can get into like the discourse on, is that really good for pro wrestling as a whole? But I don't.
I don't want to.
No.
I'm like, I could, but you know what? Y'all got this.
Yeah.
Y'all got it.
Yeah. Super chats. Send us your super chats again. Best way to get your chats read on the air. Also send us Humper Chats at humperchats.com/Fightful.
Yes,
what are the people saying?
Let's get into some of these super chats. The homie Tenruza says, enjoy Battle in the Valley, Reg. Hope you're going. I got a previous engagement. I'm not going to be at
previous engagement.
Previous engagement.
Ooh la la.
I can't be. I was at West Coast Pro last night, though. That was super fun. Shout out to all my West Coast Pro homies. There's some young, hungry people that I'd never seen before that were really going to war out there. But really, shout out to Titus Alexander. That guy is on his fucking way. I'm waiting every day, every time I go to see him live, for them to be like, oh yeah, Titus is WWE ID. They might have said it already, honestly. I don't be on Twitter. Maybe. They announced a bunch of things at the show last night that I was like, damn, I really don't be on Twitter because you guys have announced so much.
Yeah, no, you totally checked out of the Twitterverse.
It's wild, man. People be saying things like, you just see, I'm like, I did not see this. It's a good space to exist in. My mental health has been amazing.
Listen, I love it. Sometimes I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't see any of that.
For real. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That was happening.
Yeah, I just basically put
I at least
on
lurk on
Twitter.
You don't do any of that.
I don't lurk at. I don't do nothing. I don't want none of them to even see my numbers. The homie Bragov says, happy Grapsody. I'm tired of interference endings in WWE. Oh my God. Distraction finishes they drive me up a wall. Every show has at least a couple and it's boring. Fuck Hulk Hogan and Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Love and prayers to Los Angeles.
Yeah. Big ups to LA. If that is a overriding theme from this show.
Mm-hmm.
Great job, LA, on Monday, and also, hope everyone is doing well. Do what you can for your fellow man in LA.
Los Angeles, baby. Tenruz also says, shout out to DJ Head and Gina Views for helping out in LA. Shout out to everybody sending love and prayers and donating money to LA. People need it right now. There's a theme I saw of people being like, they're just all these rich people. It's in Malibu. Screw them. They don't need our money. But there were a lot of not rich people that lost their homes. Yeah.
Yeah. People just trying to get by.
Like, working class, some poor people that don't have anything out of this, you know what I mean? That can't have a GoFundMe, that can't do these things,
Yeah, and the other piece about it is, even if they are rich people, they're still people, and there's still people. Trauma that comes to building up something and owning something and just losing it in a matter of minutes. Like, that's still a traumatic experience for anybody.
Yeah, I saw that the homie Billy Crystal was living in this house for 46 years, and that house is gone. Everything that he's had for 46 years is gone. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's terrible. But yeah, I have seen people going out to help. I saw last night Holly Berry's packing up her closet to take some clothes to give, to donate to people, and that kind of stuff is always good to see people actually trying to do good things for other people. So if you can find a way to help people in LA, and it doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be donating, do what you can.
Honestly, Holly Berry could just go like stand on the corner in LA, and if people could just see her and brighten their day, that's enough for me. Like, if I just saw Holly Berry, I'd be like, you know what, my spirits are all of a sudden feeling a little bit higher.
You don't have a house. Why Holly Berry standing over there though?
You didn't see Holly Berry though. What you mean?
I'm going to live with Holly now.
Holly Berry. Remember Hurricane Chris?
What a song.
The homie Tony P. No. Sorry, Tony P. You're next.
Tony
P
in DC.
The homie Deontay Soignier says, I'm dancing to Tweaker right now, vibing at work, listening to you guys. All love as always. I watched every show this week. I'm taking a nap this weekend. You're busy out there, Deontay.
Take that nap. You deserve it.
Thank you, Deontay. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good day out there. The homie Tony P says, Petty of the Week is host choice. Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty, and Dynamite were good.
Petty of the Week. It's probably WWE for sending Hulkster out there to get booed like that. Set my man up for the wet up, man.
You saw your homie interview with Van Fleet. He has some animosity in there, it feels like. I saw a couple of his quotes about Cody Rhodes, and I was like, I think he wanted that spot.
Listen, this has been a long-going thing on this podcast. I didn't hear that entire interview, but I've been saying for a while now, because I said, hey, man, that guy seems like he's not happy. Now, he seems like he's happier than he was.
Definitely.
But at the time, when he was saying certain things about Cody, I was saying, hey, I think he means that. And people were like, no, he's working. I'm like, I don't think he's working, guys. I don't think he like that. We also got a bit of that clip from Roman, and Roman saying, yeah, he just gets to come straight in here and from being over there. And
I don't think a lot of these guys like that.
Some of those guys like that, man. I don't think that this was something they were happy about. This guy comes back and gets 3 WrestleMania main events.
That's crazy. That's crazy. We've been talking about it on this show, often, and how Cody great run. But if you really sit back and analyze that, that's insane. He came from a completely different company and got 3 WrestleMania main events in a fucking row. That's almost impossible.
Because he's it's literally a tale as old as time. He's the prodigal son.
Yeah. 2 Royal Rumble wins.
Back.
2 wins. The spotlight was shined on him, and Seth was working that whole time to get in these positions.
Yeah, I've said for the longest.
That man broke into Edge's house. Like, come on.
Yeah, I said for the longest, the Rollins-Roman match really should have happened like 3 years ago. So I can very much see him feeling like, this should have been me. I should have been the guy to beat him. I never got
Cody got 2
to beat him. He never gave me a rematch after he cheated. This guy got 2 matches. I can see him feeling like.
Yeah. Especially if I'm sure they have promised Seth stuff, and like there was that time of like they were saying Cody was going to come in and he might not come in, and like I'm sure them sitting in the back like when they were talking about Cody being in, Rollins is probably like, I don't fuck, man. Like, I want that spot. I want this position. I want these things. And then Cody comes in and gets all that. I would feel a type of way. I understand everything that he's saying in character and out of character. You know what I mean? Like both ways it works.
Yeah. And the clip I saw of him saying Cody Rhodes wouldn't be where he is in the company right now. And I was like, no, that's 100% fact. When Cody came and he had the WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 38, Rollins did all of the build for that because Cody was not there. So when Cody shows up, and of all the guys to have the match with, Rollins made him look very good in that match. The feud with Rollins for that year, the Hell in a Cell match, I don't think he gets over as big as he was coming back and in the build to him becoming champion if Rollins wasn't there. He was a big part of his first 2 years with the company.
Right. Insane. Should be disgruntled. I just watched that Curb episode. Are you disgruntled?
I keep saying I'm going to do a big Curb rewatch, man.
It's so good. I've been watching it for the last 2 weeks, and I can't get enough. It's an issue though, because I've been doing some Larry things throughout my life. Like I'm looking back, I'm like, damn, I've done that before. Am I a terrible person? So like this show's had me in a weird space because I'm like, damn, I'll be Larry sometimes. That's wild.
Yeah, getting that ass, Larry.
Gotta get in that ass, Larry.
You gotta get in that ass, Larry. You gotta open that asshole up. You gotta get in. You gotta eat Snicker bars.
You gotta topsy-turvy that motherfucker. I'll topsy-turvy that motherfucker.
You get out, you leave it wide open so you know you've been there.
The homie Tony P says, fact, Monet has held the TBS double time of all of her 5 Raw and SmackDown title reigns and can possibly beat Reigns combined if she keeps it until All In.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of the funny thing when I see people say that, oh, it's a downgrade her being over there. No, this title reign she's currently on is booked better than any title reign
ever
outside of like the NXT.
This woman is doing social media posts where she's going on video during workouts and telling you that she's having the time of her life. If she says she's happy, like,
no, you capping.
What am I supposed to? Yeah,
You look the best you've ever looked. You have so much money. You're having a great time. Your skin looks great. You capping.
She's got 4 belts. Like,
she looks great though. I'm gonna emphasize that.
Funny. Threw in there 3 times. She looks great.
She looks so great. Bill, am I lying?
No.
No,
absolutely not. There was something I was watching.
He's pulling the tell me when I'm telling lies.
Dog.
No, I was watching something one day and I was like, okay,
yep,
I seen that.
Shout out to the greatest woman wrestler of all time, Mercedes Moné. She's great. Sal Cruz says, "Hear me out. Y'all, Revolution at the Crypt. Swerve and Rico about to go crazy. Swerve is about to walk out. They do the Who's House. Then I might swerve, bend that corner. Woo! Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do all that. So
that clip of Lonzo listening to that song in the Bulls locker room, hilarious, man. Have you seen it?
Oh my god,
I have not.
Hilarious, bro. If you guys don't know the reference, that's the LiAngelo Ball song. And Lonzo played.
I swerve in that corner. Whoa. My bad.
Lonzo,
the first time.
Lonzo's playing in the Bulls locker room and he's like singing the lyrics to it. You can see like some of the other young Bulls like also dancing to it. Hilarious.
It's so funny because I heard it a bunch of times and I'm like, this is like an old like 2003 fucking crunk music song, and then I'm like, no, this is a brand new song from 2025. And then I was like, oh, it's LiAngelo Ball. What?
LiAngelo Ball featuring Mike Jones,
right? Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Mike Jones.
But it's getting over.
We're gonna get the LiAngelo Ball chopped and screwed remix.
LiAngelo Ball.
What's the Bulls' record, by the way? Are they?
I don't.
They 500
yet? I still yet to see a Bulls game this year because it's on this streaming platform that I don't have.
Oh, that's right.
Come on, man.
Bullshit.
Fix this. Fix this.
Tenruza says, watch Raw for the first time in like a year or two and won't be going back to that corporate party. Just want to say thanks, Netflix. Everyone doing it.
Yeah. The Bulls are 18-20, by the way.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay.
Just won a few
it's
games.
better than the Nets. That's
Listen, man. I was up, man. that was one of the things about this weekend. Boy, Chicago was up, baby.
Oh, Derrick Rose getting
Derrick Rose night. It was good to see.
Beautiful.
Young MVP back in the city. Love to see him get his flowers. Love to see some of those guys from the 2011 team coming back to help him celebrate. He almost got me when Noah was like giving him his flowers during his speech, and he was sitting there tearing up. I was like, man, this would have hit so different if they would have won a championship together.
Yeah.
But just emotions around it, and just
Totally.
like that time period. What a fun time to be a Bulls fan. His speech and everything. They announced that they're going to retire his jersey next season.
Yes, sir.
Definitely going to try and go to that game. And Bulls won that game that night. Sorry, New York Knicks. But glad that the Bulls picked up that win on Derrick Rose night. And then an even bigger miracle happened. Guys, I don't ask for much, man. I've watched this Bears team. If you've been watching this podcast from the last few months, when Hard Knocks aired, I was like, hey, this team might be all right. I'm going to get in.
Say that.
I'm going to watch this team for the first time in a while. It's been a very painful season for me. We've been on a losing streak since the bye week. Have not won a game since the bye week. We had the Packers this week, and I was like, I can't watch them lose to the Packers. I hate this fucking team. And so I looked at the score, and I was like, oh, wait, we're winning. And I touched the remote for a second. I was like, no, if I turn it on, we're going to lose. It happens every time.
Love superstitions. So good.
If I turn it on, they're going to lose. So I kept looking back at the score. I was like, so far, so good. I'm not going to turn it on. I saw that win. I was like, yeah, great way to end the season. Snap the win streak. Of all the teams to beat to snap that win streak, I'm glad it was them. Fuck Green Bay forever.
That's a fact. Well, now you got to build upon the superstition. You have to remember what you were watching besides the Bears. So every game next season, you have to do that same thing.
Yeah.
Watch the Bears bring in Aaron Rodgers in the offseason.
Oh, that'd be wow. That's
that
crazy.
guy. You talking about booed out of city? He might get the Hogan reaction here, man.
That's a fact. Yeah, no, I saw that video of them announcing that they're gonna hang Rose's jersey in the rafters, and I was like, you know what? All right, who cutting onions in here?
Love to see that from my guy. I do think he's eventually going to be a Hall of Famer. He
That's a fact.
it. Man, one of the most entertaining.
He's an
basketball
MVP.
players.
He's an MVP. He's going into the Hall of Fame. All these guys this week that were like, well, you can't put him in the Hall of Fame because he didn't win anything. It's like, okay, so Allen Iverson doesn't get in the Hall of Fame. Bernard King doesn't get in the Hall of Fame. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of guys in there.
it's a team sport, guys. Like, sometimes you don't win it.
It ain't all about just the damn championships.
Yeah. Speaking of basketball, Vin, big basketball fan, big Brooklyn Nets fan. I was reminded this week watching the Cavs be good that was the Brooklyn Nets coach that
Kenny
they fired.
Atkinson. Yeah,
They fired to try and help fix things with KD.
yeah. I
and
told you
Kyrie.
when they heard they fired him, I pulled over in my car. I'll never forget. It was a Saturday afternoon. It was like 10:30 in the morning. I was listening to local sports talk radio, and then all of a sudden they're like, "We got big Brooklyn Nets news coming in." I'm like, "What? What big Brooklyn Nets news? Like they already got KD and Kyrie. What could they possibly?" I'm thinking they got someone else. I'm like, oh, they just fired Kenny Atkinson. I was like, what? I was like, this is not good. Like, I pulled over. I was like, this is not good.
Pulled over and
Like,
contemplated your life, Vin.
because they already knew at that point. Because in that same report, they were like, yeah, Steve Nash looks like he's gonna be. I'm like, this is really not good. Like, this is not a good time. Like, because I was listen, basketball Twitter and social media is a whole other conversation, a whole other kettle of fish. But when this whole thing came together with the Nets and their big three or whatever, like even before that with just Kyrie, like that 1 year that it was Kyrie before Kevin Durant was healthy, I was like, this can go. There's no middle ground. Like it's either gonna be the greatest thing that's ever happened to this franchise, or it's gonna implode like in the most disastrous way. And everyone was telling me like, nah, like you can like maybe you won't win it all, but you can definitely get into the playoffs. All it's like that's not the bar I'm not talking about. I'm talking about like irreparable damage to this franchise. And you saw it that first year when they were interviewing Kyrie, like after a game, and he was like talking about, oh yeah, well we just need a couple more pieces. I'm like, you're the pieces. What are you talking about? Like, you and KD are the pieces. Like he was saying stuff like that, and like talking. And then when they hired Steve Nash, they asked him about like, oh well, Steve Nash is he's kind of a neophyte coach. It's his first time doing it. How are you and KD responding to this? Like, oh well, we could kind of play coachless. I could be a coach. KD could be a coach one week. Like, no, there's one coach.
Not a good time, yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the playoffs, when Steve Nash when the game was on the line and he would like roll the ball out to KD and just be like, "Oh, fucking you do it." Like, you figure it out. Like,
here you go.
You're the pieces. Here, take this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then they brought James Harden in, and it was like, then Kyrie wouldn't get the jab, and
that's when I knew it was over. When they made that Harden trade, I said, "Oh yeah, it's a wrap. They're not gonna win anything." I've seen this guy in action, man. I know what he's coming to town to do, man.
Kyrie was pitching some weird movie on Amazon or some shit. Shit started to get weird.
Which again, like even that like could have been avoided if he just gave like a very quick apology, because no one was expecting him to go over the top or whatever. But every time they asked him about it, it was just like, oh well,
it was war for him.
It was war for. It was just like, oh well, I'm allowed to watch this. So what are you talking about? Like, there's some stuff.
I can't watch movies now.
Yeah, I can't watch movies. It's like,
I don't think that's what we're saying, Kyrie.
Yeah, we're just saying like you tweeted this weird movie with like Nazi shit in it. Out to your 2 million followers on social media. And then like he left the team for a little while, and then they found out that he was at like a birthday party in New Jersey for his sister, like in the heart, like in the like right like in the throes of COVID.
Yeah, Kyrie had a bad few years there in Brooklyn, man. That's why when at a certain point, because I like Kyrie, man. I want Kyrie to succeed, and I was a big Kyrie defender for a long time. That Brooklyn stuff, I couldn't defend him, man. I tried for as long as I could, but I was like, I can't defend you on this.
It all started with Kaylani. After the stuff with Kaylani, then it was just downhill from there. You should have never got with that girl.
Yeah, it was. And the funny thing is, there were people on Twitter, and at the time, they were getting very mad at me about these Kyrie things. I'm like, guys.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, people were so mad.
I've been defending this guy for the longest. He's wrong. It's okay to say that he's wrong. Yeah, what a disaster that Brooklyn Nets team were. They've got some stuff to build around now, but boy, it has to sting a little bit now. Seeing the top team in the league just played OKC, beat OKC this week, and coached by the guy that you guys let go to hire Steve Nash.
Yeah.
This is Jay-Z's fault.
Steve Nash.
Jay-Z's fault.
It's all Ho's fault.
Yeah, when they had those billboards trying to compete with Madison Square Garden, where it was like the blueprint for a the new tomorrow or whatever. Like, and they had, I don't know, people should look this up, because you would think like, okay, Jay-Z's an investor, like you're gonna have a big picture of Jay-Z, right? Like blueprint, get the blueprint background. It was a picture of Jay-Z back to back with Mikhail Prokhorov.
Yeah,
the other like the Russian billionaire owner.
Yeah,
like he was the star. Like we're coming to see him.
Like it's not Jay-Z, it's Jay-Z and the homie. It's us.
Absolutely. A blueprint for a new tomorrow. That sounds like one of those OCP billboards from RoboCop 3.
Yeah, exactly. Like
blueprint for a new tomorrow. It's like Total Recall or something. Like, what's gonna happen here? Now, when I saw Cove with that gold shovel, I was like, oh, the Nets are doomed. They're never gonna come back from this, and they never did.
That's like the. I think in the past year or so, it was leaked the dossier they had to try and get Carmelo Anthony. Where it was like, pictures of Carmelo in a Nets uniform with like Darren Williams. It's like he was not coming here. Like
not coming here.
My favorite part of that whole thing though, and Phil I think knows where I'm going with this, is that led me down a rabbit hole to when LeBron was in free agency. The Knicks offered him a package where they made a video for him where they got James Gandolfini and they got him and Carmella. They got Edie Falco to reprise their roles as Tony and Carmella Soprano.
Cost so much money.
In witness protection, talking about like, Tony, your friend LeBron's coming to New York. Where should he stay? He's like, I got a place. He's talking about Madison Square Garden. It's like, he needs a place big enough for all his friends. And he's like, this is gonna be the place. And then it cuts to Madison Square Garden.
I can't believe that didn't work for LeBron. Like LeBron wasn't like, "We in, baby, let's do this."
Well, the Knicks the Knicks around like 2010.
They were terrible.
There was no sell. They couldn't sell anything. I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I hear the word dossier, I'm like, nothing good can come out of this. When you hear somebody bring,
we've got your dossier.
Nothing good come up.
It's very like James Bondish. Like, we got your dossier, Mr. Bond.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that whole LeBron Knicks video. That reminds me of that time where the Bulls were putting Melo on everything, putting the jersey on him, putting him on like the sign in front of United Center, like "Welcome Carmelo," and they're gonna try and get him to come here. And the whole time I was walking around like the heckler from Major League 2, like, guys, he's not coming here.
Yeah. Well, that's like I don't know if you know this, but there allegedly Spike Lee has a mock-up in his office that was given to him by the 2K people of Kobe in a Knicks uniform on the cover.
I remember.
And it's like, imagine that happening.
Spike Lee, very generous. The LB Chi-Town Spurs says Triple H hashtag all up in the videos.
Every time dancing.
All up in that curtain.
Cannot help himself. It's ridiculous. Tenruza says, surprise, the game isn't the new Raw theme. Damn. That's how the show starts.
It is. Surprise it is, but it's the Big Daddy Mark version.
Time to play the game.
Time to play the game.
I'm telling you, I think 1 year 2K is going to start and he's going to be like the open of 2K. It's going to happen.
Big Daddy Mark?
No, Triple H. He's going to start.
Triple H. Okay.
He's going to be at the beginning of the 2K game. It's going to happen.
He's going to be on the cover.
He's going to be like, it's in the game. It's like the wrong company, Triple H.
Yeah, which reminds me of that
the game.
It reminds me of that commercial that they aired for the unveiling of the logo. A logo. What is a logo?
He's walking through the office with his sledgehammer. He's like, what's in a logo?
What a
logo tells you everything you need to know before you. It's like, we know what the definition is.
That's right. Logo tells you everything you need to know.
What
rebellious,
sick and
provocative.
He's like rebellious, provocative,
baby.
And then we saw the logo, and I'm like, this is like generic.
It's not really
like it's fine. Like,
yeah, it's okay. It works. I like it, but it's not world. It's provocative.
It gets the people going.
Crowd boos. Coffee Black said, I feel like a lot of people with good faith criticism have got made fun of for wanting wrestling on a wrestling show.
Yes, I've seen a lot of that as well, and that's why I've kept a lot of my thoughts to myself.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, I'll talk about it on Saturday. You can't be as angry as about me on Grapsody, but they will be. Tenders also says 2 weeks before Mania, Rock shows up saying he's in. Probably not. I wouldn't think so.
That would be wild, bro. That would be hilarious.
He comes up and fucks up all their plans again. He's like, actually, I will do it.
Cody shows up on the set of Moana and like just fucking beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. Now, I would praise this if this is all leading to, because of course, other than Cena being in the Rumble and Punk also declared for the Rumble in his promo after the show, this is probably going to be Roman's first Rumble since 2020, 2021, almost about over 5 years. And so the other thing that's funny about this is 2025. We're 10 years removed from his Royal Rumble win when The Rock fell his hand in Philly, and we got the crowd booing him. Very awkward moment. they have the chance to do the funniest thing ever with all of this, because now we think they're on good terms. And he could come out at the end of Royal Rumble, redo all of this stuff, raise his hand and point to him, and then just clothesline him out of his booth. That would be great.
That would be great. If this is a swerve, that's the way to do it for sure. Tinruz also says, Rock saying wrestlers might get released was wild.
He said that?
Wild. Like,
When did he say that?
yeah, when did he?
That's Hey, some of y'all ain't gonna be here. Some of y'all ain't gonna be along for the ride, buddy. Sorry.
It's gonna get scary. It's gonna get real scary. Margie Love says, "Hey guys, something about the way Triple H has been moving in this new era gives me an air of desperation. It's like he's trying to cement himself in this spot so that no one can take his space."
Well, that's exactly it. He wants to be. He's the head guy, and he wants to. We saw it at WrestleMania when they brought him out at the end. It's Cody's big moment. Now he's got to bring out Triple H.
Yeah, I don't know if I would
he
say
knows who the head of the company is.
I do. It has that feel of he's been waiting so long, because he was given the keys to the kingdom at one point with like how successful NXT was, and then he took over creative after Vince left the first time, and so I think by the time we got to WrestleMania season last year, he was like, "Wait, he's finally gone. It's my thing, right? It's mine,
Yeah,
right?
it's
me.
It's my turn now.
Hey guys, are you ready? It's me. It's me. Me. Vince is gone. No more Vince.
Now,
And
together,
It's up.
me.
Oh, okay, that can make a lot of sense. Like he continuously has to be like, "I did this. Forget about Vince. This is me. I did this show. I did this WrestleMania. I did this Raw.
It's big me.
It's big me."
It's big me. Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think that it's one thing, they're trying to distance themselves as much as possible from Vince. And so you're trying to say, no, Vince isn't the figurehead of this anymore. It's Triple H.
Triple
But then
H.
also, Triple H has been waiting for so long to really
He's been
have
waiting for his moment.
Yeah, to have definitive control over this thing. And so he's like, oh, I'm outside now. It's up.
Yeah, give me.
I got control. I'm taking my victory lap. Give me 10.
I love you.
What a funny guy. I mean, it's been a long time. He earned it? Question mark. Chris Alston says Hulk Hogan is not the only one having a bad week. Just adds Fat Joe's brother. One should shut up and rap, and the other should just go away. What is this?
Fat Joe's had an interesting few months. At one point last year, he said this has been one of the worst years in hip hop ever, and I was like, "What?" Are you talking about?
I saw that quote, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
When
is
everyone
Fat Joe
else is
talking about?
like, "Oh, this is like a rebound year for," and he's saying like, "This is the worst year ever." It's like, okay, Fat Joe.
Yeah. Then there was also that clip from that interview where he's talking about we were enslaved, and I was like, "We?"
Yeah, we? Question mark again.
Like, yeah, there's been a bunch of people like feeling like he's taken his spot in hip hop, and he's overstepped the line on a lot of conversations. Some things that I don't know if are suited for this platform to talk about, but yeah, he's kind of overstepped a little bit.
Needless to say, Portly Joey's got a little too much dip on his chip right now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's continuously his thing, is like overstepping. Like, you're here, you earned a place, but like not like this is all yours type of thing.
Yeah, and he's a rapper, so a lot of rappers get some lies off. He's been getting
That's
some
a
lies
fact.
off for a long time, so
That's a fact.
that's cool.
Huge fact. It's part of the game.
But yeah, calm down a little bit, Joe. That's all right.
Just a little bit.
Bring it down.
You bring it down.
Hey, speaking of rappers, have you seen this thing that that Lupe's doing? This like AI radio. He's doing like an AI radio thing. Yeah, it's kind of not that good. It's weird. There's like he's doing like an AI radio show that plays one Lupe song a day or something. There's something going on, and it's weird, and people are not happy about it. People are very upset about it.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I thought you were talking about him making the announcement that he's teaching a college course at Johns Hopkins.
No, that's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not down with anything AI at the moment.
Yeah, that's how.
Well,
I
you're not using Gronk, whatever the.
Nah, can't say I'm using Gronk.
The most infuriating sentence I continuously hear. I asked Chat GPT. Stop asking Chat GPT for things, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, stop with these AI images of wrestlers like doing things together. Like, if I have to see another image of like John Cena and Randy Orton like looking like security cam footage at like a barber shop.
What is this?
Yeah, I've seen some very weird AI things.
Like
that people
Stone
are
Cold
making.
and Elmo at a picnic and shit. It's like, why do you?
Yeah,
why
it's
do
like
you-
so we're burning down the rainforest to make this. Like,
Yeah,
What's
I've
going
seen
on
some very weird AI images with like Tony Khan. And it's just
Oh yeah.
yeah.
strange stuff. Like guys,
Super strange.
cut it out. It's weird.
Tenruza says the only Attitude Era star that was needed is Austin.
I mean, really.
I mean, if you were gonna bring an Attitude Era guy out, like, yeah, don't bring him back. It's almost March. It's almost 316
Austin.
day.
He's somewhere.
I mean, with it being in L.A., Hollywood, The Rock was the one that made the most sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you got what you were gonna get out of Rock return.
that wasn't
Plus,
Hollywood Rock.
how
He's
can
been around.
Stone Cold beat his greatest Raw moment when they were doing the Performance Era shows, like at the very, very start of the pandemic, and it was 316 day, and he was doing the send me a hell
yeah.
to nobody, and Byron Saxton goes, hell yeah, and he goes, what? Like, he just, like, the way he turned and looked at him, it was like, what? It was like something out of the Eric Andre show. It was great. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And then, yeah, he takes one of the greatest stunner cells I've ever seen after drinking that beer. After Austin legitimately just hoops him in the nuts.
that very first Performance Center show, like, actually had a lot of creativity. Like, Triple H came out and he's about to do the thing with the water, and an intern comes up and grabs the water from him and walks away. Like, I can't be spitting droplets out.
When they were trying to do that was fun. But then they were like, let's bring in all these screens.
Yeah.
That was
You gotta
weird.
do Thunderdome. You gotta do the big Thunderdome Rome.
The Thunderdome. What a weird time in life.
Yeah,
Tinners
the
also
road,
said Ric Flair also Fed bound.
Nope.
Flair Hogan promo. Yay.
Nope, he is, I believe, still
Yeah, I can
tied
see
up
it.
in
I can see
AEW
him.
because they got the Woo energy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, yeah, I thought that he still had a deal over there. How does he have two deals?
Yeah, he can't wait to get a Woo Wings on that mat, man. He'll be back with it.
Woo-wing!
Woo
It's so
wings.
awkward to say
They're
whenever
definitely
it's
trying to
him
get the
saying.
Woo Wings on there.
And like every time he shows those wings, I'm like, these like shitty little these wings suck. Like,
Shitty little wings. Yeah, definitely.
Wings.
Wing. Wing.
like he's Mario. He got the wing cap and he's just like going off.
Now that
like,
the advertisement for him that I get the most is fucking him slanging dick pills for some reason. I'm like, why is Ric Flair? He's like 95 years old. I don't want to do anything that has to do with that.
my favorite like Ric Flair, I don't know if it's like Ric Flair shill moment or something, but it is back in his TNA days when he was like just doing everything. And he came to Staten Island and he did like a signing at this place called Bistro that doesn't exist anymore. But it was like the only way to describe it is like a classy diner, I guess. Like, it wasn't a defined restaurant. It was just like, oh, here's a diner, but it's got like a bar. And it was known as a place where young college men would go to pick up single older women. So Ric Flair,
That's like a spot I'd hang out in.
but like right next door was like just like a dumpy like a Bridgestone tires. So Ric Flair shows up, and you can this is on YouTube, so you can see it for yourself. Even though it's just like a rainy day, like dumpy, he's just going to this fucking place for this like hookups diner or whatever. He still has to come in the limo with a boombox playing, his theme music, and he gets out of the car.
Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
exactly.
ding,
Like,
ding.
ding, 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 ding. And he gets out of the car and he looks like he wants to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, which is not an uncommon feeling being on Staten Island, but
Sounds like he had a great time. Sure, he went and drank a lot.
yeah, I would bet.
Got drunk out of his mind. Tim Ruse also says, people forget Triple H went to Mar-a-Lago. Fed is fed.
Yeah, there's photos of the whole family like in the Oval Office with Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, and I
mean,
think that's
Linda.
part of the. Yeah, I mean that's part of the reason why I think Hogan will be back. But every time people are like, "Oh, well, this guy might be a Trumper too," but again, when you get on a national stage and endorse this guy, rip his shirt off, and
there's levels to this.
And you see this thing because a lot of people don't know that Triple H is a Republican, which
Right.
being a Republican is not inherently bad, but
well, and also Triple H is probably enough of a businessman to recognize that, like, even if he has his own personal political beliefs, like, he knows his audience is diverse, and he knows that he can't rock the boat, and why would he want to?
Like, he can't be on stage being like, vote
ripping
for
his
this
shirt
guy.
off.
Yeah,
like,
you can't do all that.
Now that Trump's in, the game is about to begin. Like, you can't like going crazy.
yeah. Imagine him just
Drink
like
this
doing
beer for Trump is crazy. Hogan's a wild motherfucker.
Yeah, so he's gonna toe the line, and he's Triple H being Triple H, he wants people to like him, so he's not gonna come out and like endorse this guy publicly. He never do.
Who's surprised though? Tenders also says, wait, hold on. Wait, what happened? Hold on.
Oh, the old Raw theme's playing was cool.
Yeah, there you go. Also, the old Raw theme playing was cool. Omega is back.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. My computer started to be weird. I don't know why. Just stop moving. Will Chisholm says, Jay Shoot wanted to hit the blunt, and The Rock drunk on NXT popped me, and The Rock promo saying, without saying, guys, I'm not wrestling at Mania. LOL.
Yeah, both of those
I don't
promos
think
felt
he's
like,
doing
hey, man, this has been fun. I ain't going to be there, guys.
Yeah, shout out to The Rock. Not shout out to The Rock for drinking and driving. This fool, after the show on Raw, they're like, look at The Rock taking off. Look at The Rock taking off after he made his appearance. Fool's drinking tequila, taking shots of people, slapping hands and shit. And then he gets in his truck and drives off. I'm like, wait, I don't think you can do that. What's happening here?
But he did that in Bad Blood, too.
He did that Bad Blood, too. You better stop The Rock.
Yeah, him stopping everything he's doing. He's cutting his whole promo, walking to his truck with ZZ Top playing, and he takes this big swig of Terramana. He's like, God damn, that's some good shit.
He gets behind the wheel of his large
he gets
automobile.
into a fucking truck, dude. Like, you can't do that, Rock.
Like, he was fine. Like,
and like, you're The Rock, dude. You can have a driver. You're the biggest fucking artist or fucking actor in the world right now. What the fuck?
I don't even know.
Get The Rock a driver. That has to be in the rider.
Yeah, really.
Rock.
Like,
What's going on here?
Rock
Driving his
don't
own
need
truck?
no chauffeur. He's a man's man. He drives his big truck.
You better watch out. Though. I seen those Death Riders coming around these parking lots, breaking cars.
Yeah, Darby might run into your ass. Well, Chisholm also says, I'm glad all three brands now have new women's champions in WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Julia Roxanne match was very good. Crowning
that was
for
good.
Julia. I thought that was dope. Looks like they're setting up Stephanie Vaquer to challenge for the North American Championship.
Good move.
Exciting. Yeah,
Big
NXT.
Oba is the new NXT champion. Very happy for him. It's very dope.
That was pretty surprising, but also not surprising. Like, they've been wanting to put this guy over for a long time. The crowd is very into him. He's very over, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Brian Anthony Rivers says having Hogan come out as Hollywood Hogan is literally the equivalent of putting lipstick on a pig. But to me, it continues to show the magnetization of the product, like what happened with the UFC. That's a hard word.
I was gonna say I was gonna jump in and say it, but then I saw the middle of that word. I was like, I don't want to risk it.
Oh yeah, it was kind of close there.
Yeah.
Mad niggas. Remember the mad niggazation of
That was my favorite MF Doom project.
Yeah, sometimes I watch those UFC events and I'm like, they don't want me to watch this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me, pal.
They're like continuously telling me, this isn't for you, brother. Will Chisholm says, have Gable versus Penta will go crazy, and last night women's 4-way went hard.
Yeah. I think it's funny watching Triple H lean into things, and this is why when people are like, AEW has done nothing for the wrestling industry, it's certain things that I can see he's taking cues from over there. Like, oh, those guys, like when he did that whole bit where he was talking at a press conference, he said, yeah, we don't have to insult our audience, like, they know that people are playing a character. And then when he talks about the Gable thing, he's like, you guys pretty much know who's going to be right. Right. But again, it's like that their way of promoting things in other companies of going like, you guys pay attention to more than what's going on our TV show. I don't want to talk to you like you're stupid. And I think that's a good thing overall for the industry. Like, don't treat us like we don't see a bunch of stuff on the internet.
Because this company continuously did that and be like, oh no, if it didn't happen here, it didn't exist. I'm happy that they're being like, you guys, we know what the internet is. We're all on the same thing. People talk.
Yeah, and to Triple H's credit, to his credit, he has been on that for a while. He was, of course, like,
he's in his house right now, like, yes, I did it. Got his ass.
Finally got the credit from Phil Lindsey. He finally stopped subscribing to Fightful Select.
But he was in the curtain call, of course, so he's been on that move for a while.
Oh yeah.
Like, the fans know.
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading the first part of this question, but it sounds like something out of The Shining. Had Gable versus Penta will go crazy.
I was thinking about Vin being on the show today, and like that, it's now a recurring bit in my own brain of $20 when Emilio was so mad that she donated to our
$20.
$20. Every time I see $20, I think about that now.
He's like, I can't get you to buy this $500 equipment, but you gave these guys $20. It's like, yeah, because there's a big difference.
$20.
$20.
Perplexed though, like he really was like confused.
He was confused. His brain, he reset his brain. Like,
shout out to the homie Emilio.
Yeah,
$20.
$20.
Ted Ruza says the
dental plan.
Ted Ruza says the people didn't matter. It was for execs only.
The execs already won. Yeah. They got the partnership. They got the deal.
Yeah.
At the point where The Rock was like, let's give it up to those Netflix execs. If you blah, 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 Squid Game. I'm like, The Rock is so funny, dude.
You want Squid Game. The Rock should show up
mode, dude. Jesus Christ. Will Chisholm says, is it me or every time I see Nick Khan, he looks like he called a hit on someone. He does definitely look like
he's the man behind the curtain. He's the guy that like gets the stuff done.
The fact that he's in this position, every time I think about that, I'm like, damn, this guy came up like crazy. There's people like that have died trying to get to that position, you know what I mean? To try to just take over Vince McMahon shit, and like this guy came and did it.
I loved during the pandemic when Tony Khan was like, there's only one con man in this business. It's like, all right, no, there's multiple now. You both have the same last name.
This Nick Khan fella's on some other shit.
Yeah.
That man will go get him a deal. Do not worry about it. You need a deal? I'll get it. Hey, what's over there says Pretty of the Year should be awarded to the MTA for this congestion tax BS. Got to pay $9 extra to go in and out of Manhattan.
Yeah, for people who don't live in New York, there's something called congestion pricing that I know they do in England, but now it's coming to America. And it's starting out here. We're the first place in America that's implemented congestion pricing.
Oh, God, that means we're next.
And it basically means that if you go past a certain point or over a specific bridge during like what they call peak hours, you have to pay like, $9 or whatever. But here's the other rub. Like peak hours to go to Midtown is like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's like, so what? So all day? Like, and then you're still charged at night. It's just like $2. And so it's like, this is ruining everything because you just think of the domino effect that this has on like trucks that have to come into the city every day to deliver things. Like that means goods are going to cost more. Just people commuting into the city. Like nobody's going to want to, who's going to want to come into the city? Like, you already pay, like $15 in some cases to go over the bridge.
Yep. To
get into Manhattan. And now, and look, ultimately, like if we want to take the charitable route and go, well, this is going to force more people to take advantage of public transportation. Not really.
Not really.
Because public transportation ain't that great. They cut bus service.
Yeah.
And it's there. You get onto public transportation. There's so many fucking people on there. If you go from like driving your own car across to like changing your whole life to having to take different routes and stuff, it's not as easy as people think it's gonna be.
They're gonna have to like prove to me that which they're not gonna be able to, that like, okay, we're taking this money and like reinvesting it into like new buses, new subway system.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna have to really show that they're like upping New York City's game in terms of public transportation, because this ain't it. This congestion pricing ain't it. Nobody's happy about it. It's one of those things that they like slipped through, and nobody even really like understands how it got through. Yeah, it is what it is right now. There's nothing I can do about it. Like,
they just raised the price. It costs $8 for me to drive across the bridge. That shit's coming any day now. Yeah. This congestion thing is definitely going to come to California because they can't wait to charge us some money.
And now, they're going to. I guarantee you, they're going to do the cynical thing and go, well, you know, with the recent wildfires, like we're going to use that money to. It's like, you're going to use it to fucking jerk off. You're going to like, there's no.
Yeah. I mean, and look. Public transportation in New York is better than most of the public transportation in the rest of the country. So it'll be fine, but the people are not going to look at it that way. They're going to look at it like, this is a tax hike. And you know how Americans are with tax hikes. They're going to be upset because it's like, what do you mean I got to pay more?
I pay your taxes. Get out of the way, fireman.
Yeah.
Then Will Chisholm says, I did laugh when Corey Graves said Julia reminds him of Wrestle Kingdom Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah,
that was funny.
That was really funny. Appreciate everybody submitting super chats. Y'all are dope. That's all of our super chats for now.
Yeah, we've got some humper chats to get into, but before we get into that, I'm gonna hit you with a word from our sponsors.
Shit.
BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.ag. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.ag, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
As always,
there you go.
Please bet responsibly, but for all your sports betting needs, BetOnline.ag is the place to go.
Do it. Do it. Can I plug something?
You sure can.
I'm bad at plugging things, so I was like, let me get this in. Actually, I had it on the screen, but the name tag that you put up actually is blocking it. But vinforte.substack.com. Go read. I put 2 articles up every single week. I've been doing so for the past year, so go subscribe for free. Go do that right now before you forget. vinforte.substack.com. There's also a paid option if you want to throw me $5 a month. Be more than appreciative. But it's free to subscribe, and that's the most important thing, because then you get new articles as they go up. It's mostly articles about music videos. I have a whole series where I break down different music videos. You can suggest ones for me to review, and then also other ones too. Like I have a couple wrestling ones up there. I incorporated that into today as well. I did an article that went up this morning on the Ultimate Warrior Phil Collins clip. So go check that out. It's free. Like I said, if you want to throw me a little $5, go ahead. But you're not obligated to by any means, especially with all the stuff happening in LA. Go spend that money elsewhere for more important things. But go subscribe so you get new articles as they come up in your inbox, because social media is going to come and go. People are jumping from there, but you're not getting rid of your email tomorrow. You're going to see.
That's a fact. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked in depth about WWE. Netflix debut. Let's get into New Japan Wrestle Dynasty. Really good show. I was excited for this card coming into it. I enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom, but I thought Wrestle Dynasty was easily the better show.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's not a question about it. And but it does feel like one of those old super cards where I wish there was sort of more, and there were stakes, but it felt like sort of this like a side thing. Where it's like, oh, like, yeah, the AEW's got paper. I feel like they just could have marketed it a little more. But that's just me. I think coming out of it, the big talking point was the Kenny Omega match, and rightfully so. I think it actually should have gone on last, even though, you got to put your championship match on last. Because, man, for a guy in Kenny Omega who said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to come back and do the things that I used to do, it looked like you did him here. Like it looked like he did all the things he used to do here. And Gabe Kidd, this was like the star-making performance.
Yeah.
And like with the New Japan trunks on as well, like them positioning it as like New Japan versus AEW. I don't get why people are like upset at Chris Charlton. Like this was like, if you've been following the build for this, they've been building it. Like, yeah, I'm seeing like Tony Schiavone's like, oh, by the way, like you smell or what? It's like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, that tweet is no longer up. I saw,
but
someone,
it's up still.
Yeah, Tony was not on AEW Dynamite this week. Reportedly, it's not because he got suspended. He has something else going on. There was an explanation for it, but I don't have it in front of me. But it wasn't because he got suspended. But I thought this was a great show. Even the pre-show stuff was good. I thought the International Women's Cup Finals was very good. Was very shocked by the outcome of it because I think most of us predicted that Willow was going to come out the winner. But Momo Watanabe picked up the win with the help of Tekla. Tekla came out and did a distraction. Momo hit Athena with the big bat. Momo is the first person to pin Athena in almost 2 years now, which is wild to think about. That's to set up the Athena match with Tekla at the Stardom show coming up this month for the ROH Women's Championship. I think that match is on the 15th. I
think it's the 15th. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this match was excellent. Athena was the highlight of this thing. She was like flipping around and like moving around well. She like gave us two incredible O faces in Japan. I was like, nah, she been showing out over there in Japan.
Yeah, no, the way that she's continuously talked about wanting to go to Japan, in pretty much anytime somebody brings it up to her, it showed in her work. Like she was like, I'm not gonna waste this moment. Any moment that I get in Japan, I'm going to look like the hardest working wrestler there is. And every moment that I saw of her in Japan, she was working like she's the baddest wrestler in the world. She looked like she belonged. I want to see much more of her. Setting up the thing with Tekla is so awesome. That match is going to be dope.
Yeah, I like the backstage stuff afterwards with her and Athena, where Tekla did the classic, like, you want some of this? Like, just completely ambushing her promo. Tekla's like, I've been talking her up for a while now. Like she's the next big star. I know, you guys interviewed her, in the past couple of months, and she's kind of hinted very subtly, like kind of like, oh well, wait and see. Like I would not be shocked if she gets picked up by AEW. Like she is a ready-made star. Like she's got all the tools. And I think she would be a huge pickup for their women's division.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, all of the women here I thought looked good. Willow looked great. Persephone also looked great in the spots that she was in. I haven't seen much of her wrestle, but I was really impressed with her. But big win for Momo. I have to assume that they're setting Momo up for something. Maybe she's going to challenge Mayu for the IWGP Women's Championship soon. At this point, I don't know who's going to beat Mayu, but Momo would be a good option.
This is a good way to kind of set it up, at least, because there weren't any official stakes to this, right? It was just like a trophy.
Yeah, just for the trophy. Big trophy.
Big trophy.
Which made it even funnier. Her hitting Athena with the bat, and then her and Tekla running up the ramp with that big trophy.
Yeah.
We got the Sons of Texas taking on House of Torture after that, which this was fun. This was a good way to get Sammy Dustin on the card. Every time I see showing things for House of Torture, I'm just like, man, this guy is great. What are they doing with this guy? There are a few guys in House of Torture, very talented guys, and I'm just looking around like, come on, man, just get to it with these guys. These guys are fun to watch, and you got them in this heel bit that I don't really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, when they broke up Show and Yo, I was like, I don't know where this is going, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere that I want to follow down this path. Like, you could have easily still had them as Roppongi 3K and then just doing solo stuff, because around the time they broke up, it was always like one was injured and then the other one would get injured when the other one would come back. So it's like you could just do like what they would do with the Briscoes. Like, one's out, you've only got the other. Like, see what they can do in the singles division. You know, give them a little chance. But no, we gotta hook them up with House of Torture, and it is what it is. It's them. It's Dick Togo. I like Dick Togo, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Roppongi 3K had a good run. You could make an argument that they ran their course, but
yeah,
the show was so good in that Super Juniors that year, and they did so many good things with them that I just wanted to see more of it. Keith Dugas is correct, by the way. He said the winner gets a title match of their choice.
Gotcha.
I was double checking that, and he is right. The winner of the International Women's Cup gets to receive a women's championship match from the participating promotion of their choosing. So that that leads me to believe that Momo's probably going to challenge Mayu soon.
That makes sense.
Started hot with the Lucha Gauntlet. This was a lot of fun. Big flippy vibes. This was definitely Reg's type of wrestling.
Yes. Flips, more flips, crazy luchador, some of the best luchadors from CMLL, some of the best guys from New Japan. This felt like the way that I wanted to start the show, because I knew there was going to be like some story elements and some kind of like the Kenny Omega thing was going to be totally different than like flips, spot foo. And so you needed some spot foo to start the show. And this was the way to start the show.
Yeah, that famous junior heavyweight, Henshin Sero, getting it in. Like, man, when they were all just beating up on fucking Desperado, like that was some great stuff. Yeah, it was what it was. It was a great showcase for a bunch of juniors and high flyers, and like you said, you weren't going to get that later on in the show, so you have to get it in here.
Yeah, that shot of everybody watching Desperado come down to the ring, and they're like,
they all beat the crap out of him. Yeah,
they all run in and beat him up. That was great stuff. Taiji Ishimori picks up the win here. I have to assume that's setting up something big for Ishimori coming down the pipe. But matter of fact, I think that sets up the match tonight. I have to double check that, but I believe he's going to be challenging Desperado for the title soon. Good to see Echicero in there mixing it up. Like, it was just cool to see so many, such a different variety of wrestlers mixing it up here, whether it be Teton, Desperado, Mascara, Dorado Mascara popped up at one point. Like, Master Wato.
Flipping everywhere.
Yeah.
Master Wato.
Then we got the Tanahashi Shibata match, which I don't know what I expected out of it at this point, but just seeing those two in the dome the night before on Wrestle Kingdom, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is one of the things.
They were just having a little grapple. In the ring. A little sloppy fight.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to see Tanahashi doing in his retirement tour. Like, get to those kind of matches. Of course, Shibata says that the match with Shinsuke has to happen. He has to have one more match with Shinsuke. And
so I'm saying, man, that's going to open the door. Once he gets the match with Shinsuke, it's going to be John Cena in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah. Good luck.
Do you imagine Cena in the dome? Like,
that would be wild, though. They should.
Yeah. That would have been hilarious setup if they did it at Wrestle Kingdom. They got the lucha, they got the lumberjack match, and all this stuff is happening with House of Torture. And there's like a match figure around House of Torture side, and he just rips his mask off at one point. John Cena. What is
Yeah.
John Cena doing here?
Dude, the crowd would have went insane.
Yeah.
There's been people crying in the dome.
Dick Togo would have been frightened. Like, it would have been great.
Dick to go would have been wild.
Dick to go.
Yeah, but this was fun. This was just like a grappling exhibition match. Just
Lot
seeing
of
these two
chops.
guys wrestle again was cool.
Yeah, I think with Tanahashi doing his legendary run here at the end, a lot of people were asking about Shibata being a part of this weekend, and I think probably wasn't exactly the thing that most people were expecting. But seeing him firing off on Tanahashi is always fun, you know.
Yeah.
Big chops.
Big
throughout
chops.
this match. Big chops.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got probably one of my favorite matches of the night. Mercedes Moné taking on Mina Shirakawa. Man,
Third match of the show. That was crazy.
Great.
this match was great. Mercedes coming out with the Queen Serenity dress, rips it off, and had her Sailor Scout outfit on. And then had another costume change when she got in the ring. Mercedes in Japan and like hyping up like the presentation and everything. It just feels right. Like she belongs on that stage. She talked about how it was a dream to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome, and you can tell. Some of the reports that came out of this, like she said she had a panic attack at one point and like just nervousness going into this, but you could not tell in this match because this match I thought was very good. Mina came into this match. She's been challenging Mercedes for a while. She's been challenging Mercedes since she left WWE, and it looked like no, I've been wanting this match. I've been studying tape. I've been waiting because for like the first half of this match, she's like all over her. She's dominating her.
Yeah, it felt like she was right on Mercedes' heels the whole time. Mercedes coming in with that kind of pressure she put on herself because I think that she's earned it. She's well in the position to be in a big match like this, but she still kind of has some of that imposter syndrome, you can tell. And you can't tell when the match when the presentation starts though, when her music hits with the gear, how she looks, her confidence, like you can't tell at all. And then when she has a match like this, she's had a bunch of matches since, of course, the match with Britt Baker to show that she is one of the best women wrestlers in the world. And I thought these two women here got a nice amount of time. There's a lot of great counters in this, but Mercedes, when she gets into big match mode, there's not a lot of people that can beat her these days.
Yeah, big match Mercedes is real. Like she's absolutely 100% real. I've said it before that look, you can knock what she's doing creatively in AEW because I do think there's a lot of holes in her creative right now and what they're giving her to do. But what you can't really knock is that when she's in the ring, she either puts on a great match with someone who's like on her level or helps elevate someone that you wouldn't have expected. And I don't get like the people kind of coming out of the woodwork recently to be like, oh, well, who is she elevating? It's like she had a match with Stephanie Vakir, and then a month later, WWE signed her. Not only signed her, but made her like she had to drop belts in other companies because they needed her. And some people are like, well, she was already on their radar. It's like, okay. Yeah, she probably was already on their radar, but like you can't tell me that didn't supercharge their interest in her.
Yeah, wrestling her.
And then her match with Willow before that. And again, people are like, well, Willow was already on the come up. It's like, yeah, if these people weren't already on the come up, they wouldn't have gotten a match with Mercedes to begin with.
Exactly.
Like, two things can be true at once. Like, and yeah, you could point to the Britt Baker match, but like, whatever. That is what it is. But most of her matches, like, who knew? Like, what Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks fan knew Hazuki before that match?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Had one of the best matches of the year with Suzuki. A lot more people know who Suzuki is now. Mina's getting more exposure over here in the U.S., but having that match at the Tokyo Dome with Mercedes, that's big for her, win or loss. And
big deal.
Mina looked great. I know some people that try to unfairly act like, oh, well, Mina just comes out and she just does the dances and it's just like all of her looks. Nah. no, she looked great in this match. Very came in with a game plan of working the knee for most of the match. Most of Mercedes' offense relies on the Meteoras and stuff with her knees. Very smart. I thought she looked great. Even in loss, Mercedes picked up the win here. It's now a triple champion. People were confused by this as well. It's not 4 belts. The undisputed British Women's Championship is 2 belts.
2 belts.
So she's a triple champion, not 4 champions.
But well deserved. She looks great doing this kind of belt collector style gimmick. There's a lot of people that thought that Mina should have got the win or were kind of expecting that. But you can kind of see what Mercedes is doing and how she's going to move forward this year.
Nah, man, she's burying everyone. That's why she's got all the belts.
Mercedes
They
Hogan.
just want it all for her. Yeah, Mercedes Hogan. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
it's like these people just got to admit, like, you just don't like what she's doing.
That's it.
Because when Kenny has all the belts, it's all he's so great, belt collector Kenny. When Roman has 2 belts and then they give him a 3rd belt, and he's like, "Well, I'm still going to keep these 2 belts." Like, it's like, oh yeah, great, give him more belt. Maybe he should win the IC belt. Maybe he should win the US belt. Like, you can't pick and choose. Either it's cool for someone to have a little run where they're a belt collector, or it's not.
Yeah, that's what I find funny with some of the discourse around Mercedes and who is she elevating. You guys loved this Roman run that went for almost 4 years, and but this and she can't have more than 1 belt. No, just
No way, no how. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but I mean I predicted Mina was gonna win. I thought that Mina was gonna win because it seemed like it made sense with what New Japan is currently doing. But the other part of this is, and I noticed it right away when she came in, big entrance with the Queen Serenity dress and everything. New Japan clearly sees the value in Mercedes Moné. We've seen that from the beginning when they brought her into Wrestle Kingdom. No, they're very much in the business of working with Mercedes.
And we got the report coming out of that match. The promoter for Rev Pro said all of their shit has went up already. They've gotten more subs. They got more interest in their company just off of her winning the championship. They haven't announced a match for her or nothing. Just of her being connected to them with that championship has already increased business. So we understand what's going on here. They try to say Mercedes is something that she ain't. She is moving numbers for these people in a different way. These are New Japan is just started caring about women's wrestling last week, and this is happening, you know?
Well, again, like, it's all relative, and people don't want to. It's got to be an either or, like we were talking about before. Like, people go, "Oh, well, she's not in WWE, so therefore she can't have any impact because she doesn't have the most impact." Where in WWE, where she clearly would have the most impact because of just eyeballs alone. But it's like, does that mean, like you said, that she can't have any impact? That like a company like Rev Pro wouldn't kill to have Mercedes Moné as their champion, and that wouldn't immediately move numbers for them? Like, no, of course. Like,
you
people are
already
silly.
have all of these British wrestlers that are like, I want to match with Mercedes, and they're already challenging her. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for those wrestlers. That's a good thing for Rev Pro as a promotion. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish people would calm down with some of this, business insider talk that doesn't affect them.
Well, people want to act like they're on the inside, that they have all the scoops. Well, I heard my cousin was at a show and she heard so and so. It's like, get out of here.
I mean, the good thing about it is Mercedes keep doing this proving the fans wrong thing. They keep talking down to her, and every time she proves them wrong, she comes out with the fire-ass match. So maybe keep talking shit because it's bringing out some quality content from Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yes. Really enjoyed this match. David Finlay versus Brody King.
Big Brode.
I did not expect this coming into Wrestle Kingdom weekend, but David Finlay was the MVP of this weekend. He had 2 great matches. He had possibly the best match at Wrestle Kingdom, in my opinion. And then he had a good match here with Brody King.
Yeah. I'm glad that this is a match that basically reminded people how good Brody King is. Because we know how good he is in the tag division and whatnot. But before he came into AEW, he was one of those indie guys that, like, had a real presence and a very singular presence. And I'm glad that he's getting more attention with the singles run. And I hope that this is maybe a sign of things to come with Malachi Black maybe leaving AEW. I say just shift the focus right on over to Brody King.
I agree.
Malachi, yeah, I think our prediction coming into this match is that Brody King might get the win, but then seeing how David Finlay has been being treated, and you talking about the MVP caliber weekend that he had, made sense that he got the victory here. He's over in that building, he's over in that company, and I thought this was a pretty smartly worked match from both of these guys.
Yeah, not a good weekend for people that are like Bullet Club sucks now. Bullet Club is irrelevant. Yeah, Finlay had a good match. Gabe is looking incredible. Sonata, I think, has benefited a lot from joining Bullet Club as well because he was pretty bland, and now he's back to what people liked about him. He's got the blonde hair again. He's got the scruff again. The women can thirst over him again. This is what.
Yeah, he's not just one of the 5 guys or whatever.
Yeah, he's back to what people liked about him when he was in LIJ, I think.
Yeah, he's back to he's stylish Sonata again.
Yeah, it was weird that he became world champion and then like lost all of his swag. It's like, no, the things we liked about him. What happened to that?
Drake, why'd you stop dressing like a Dreamcast character?
Like, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
bring back them Skies of Arcadia fits, baby.
Yeah, he started trying to do this clean cut Inoki thing, and it just didn't really work for him. And I thought his title run was long overdue, but I just didn't care for the just 5 guys thing he was doing.
No, that name is still super weird.
Well, just 4 guys now.
Just 4 guys now. Yeah, it's been changed.
We're just 4 guys.
Just the 4 of us. That's it.
That's where Chris Carlton was missed on New Year Dash because when their music started playing, I was like, I'm used to Chris singing along to it and doing 4 guys, just 4 guys, 4 guys. They're just 4 guys.
Vin said Fat Joe had a little too much dip on his chip. Chris is the one who had a little too much dip on his chip, I think.
Yeah.
Work turned into a shoot, brother. When we were doing the stream live, it didn't I was like, I heard it didn't seem like it was that crazy, but then people are like replaying and saying something. I was like, man, he was kind of talking a little crazy though.
A money mark, like okay, yeah.
I said, okay,
got a little spicy, got a little hot.
Because at first I was just like, of course it's beef, but what do you mean? Like he's gonna talk great about his company? But I was like, but then he was talking like.
He brought the beef.
He's talking like the big money people be talking, brother.
He found out beef in the winter leads to death in the summer.
Straight up.
And I think he was working. I think that
I thought so too.
The fact that they brought it up on New Year Dash the next day, I don't think they would have brought it up at all on the stream if this was just him completely going into business for himself, and they didn't. They wanted to completely distance themselves from it. It seemed like he was working, and just kind of went overboard. That's all.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. It happens.
Shota versus Claudio was fun. I was surprised at how many people thought that Claudio was going to win here. Coming out of the loss at Wrestle Kingdom, Shota needed the win.
Yeah.
A loss that, by the way, my favorite part of that loss was when they cut over to Tanahashi and he's got this look on his face. Like I'm not mad. I'm just very disappointed.
He did have disappointed dad look at the like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to y'all when these cameras cut off.
Yeah.
When they cut all this off.
we believed in you, Shota. This match was fine. I enjoyed it. I think Shota needed a performance like this. Claudio on the stage was a lot of fun. Great to see Claudio in the dome. Hopefully Claudio comes back and does more New Japan stuff because he's incredible. I mean, newsflash, this guy is still very good at the wrestling, still so great bass, still great striker, still great at just tossing people around and manhandling them. Really, really good wrestler.
a tremendous wrestler. I thought that this wasn't like the match of the night or anything, but like gave you exactly what it needed. Like you said, Shota can't have losing the main event of the Wrestle Kingdom and then lose another match right afterwards. That wouldn't make a lot of sense to what they're trying to do and how they're trying to build him.
Yeah, and maybe this also advances that little side quest of Moxley and Shota Umino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the stuff we got on New Year Dash. I felt bad for laughing as hard as I did, but I laughed very hard at it. If you didn't watch New Year Dash, it was a lot of it. Wasn't much of note. It was much of setting up some stuff for tonight for Battle in the Valley and setting up some stuff for the next New Japan pay-per-view. It seems like the feud going forward is going to be Great Khan versus Shota, and in the build to the Wrestle Kingdom match, Shota was bringing out those paper belts that the kids made for him, show support.
Yeah.
Great Khan mercilessly ripped these things up in front of his face, and I felt bad for him, but I also laughed very
But I
hard
love
at it.
Great
I was like,
Khan
oh,
so
no.
much. It's like
He
I
was
want
so
Great Khan to take
disrespectful.
this guy in the woodshed. Like
Yeah, exactly. Like it shouldn't be, but Great Khan's so great that it is.
Yeah,
Great Khan's just like, I'm gonna fucking destroy you, and then I'm gonna go back to my hotel room where I've got 3 ladies in a hot tub waiting for me.
Yeah, some Hennessy, probably.
very, very disrespectful the way he tore those belts up. I felt bad, but I also did laugh at it. Unfortunately, Shota just needs he needs a refresh, man. He needs I think he needs to change around his look a little bit. I think
You
he
gotta
needs to
drop the
refresh his
motorcycle.
The motorcycle.
He did the motorcycle entrance again at Wrestle Dynasty. And it's fine. I like Shota. I just think he needs a reset. That's all.
Yeah, he just needs a reboot.
He's got to take some cues from the Undertaker if he's gonna ride that motorcycle around the ring.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go on like an excursion somewhere. I'm not sure where at this point because I don't see him going back to the UK for excursion.
No.
I don't see him doing the Mexican excursion like Naito did.
No.
AEW and join the Death Riders. Join your
Maybe
father.
AEW, maybe he can do like a domestic excursion like Oyawa did and go to Noah for a little bit. I don't know. But he needs something.
He needs to interact with some different wrestlers.
Yeah.
Takeshita, to nobody's surprise, had a fantastic match with Tomohiro Ishii. Ishii is one of those guys under the bright lights. He turns into a different wrestler, man. He's still got a bunch of gas in his tank. He's still going to give you a match like this. This was a lot of fun. It's so funny. When we recorded last week, I said, I think Takeshi's going to stick around for a little while, just based on the way they're booking him.
Well,
He's now 2 belts in. Yeah, he just got signed, so he will
Yeah.
be sticking around.
He's really going to be sticking around now. They said, hey, we really want you to stick around. Put your name down on here. Yeah, it felt like this was the weekend of Takeshita. I mean, having a great match with Shingo and then following it up with another New Japan legend in the Tokyo Dome against Ishii. And these guys are just throwing bombs at each other the whole time. It's fighting spirit, it's suplexes, it's head drops. It's all the things you would expect from one of these kind of matches. But Takeshita just looked like the most confident man in the world. Like if they gave him, if they put him up against the IWGP championship champion Zack Sabre Jr. tonight, he's winning. Like that's how much confidence he has. Like he's ready to take over the world. I think that he's been doing so well and amazing in America and AEW, but this New Japan thing is going to take him to a way different level. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Something I did think about because on the Shota thing, I do think he's going to turn heel.
Yes.
But I did think about with the Great Khan thing, and currently the leader of United Empire is TJP, which I like TJP, but
it's not what you want.
It's not really I like TJP, but as a leader, I don't really.
Big shoes to follow, filling Will Ospreay's shoes. And I thought about it the other day, and I was like, what if Shota turned heel and he took over United Empire? He's good friends with Will Ospreay. I wouldn't mind that. I think that would work for him, but could be out of left field.
We'll see.
You thought about it. It must be something.
Yeah.
No, I think there are reasons to believe that could work. I think Shota as the leader of that group would be great.
Right.
Now, see, when John Cena comes to New Japan, he's going to take over United Empire.
Oh God.
He'd be like, TJP, bring back your fake ass Mega Man music.
Yeah, let's not go back to that time period. Him dabbing and stuff. Yeah, no thanks.
Oh God, forgot about that. He would have him in like the leg lock, and he would do it. God, those are some terrible times. Terrible times. Terrible what they done to me.
I watched a lot of 205 Live, and so that theme song is like burned into my brain now. I'm just like, why'd they do that to that guy, man?
So bad. With the dab, I'm dead.
With the dab, yeah.
The dab.
Now I gotta have someone make some artwork of you as Mega Man dabbing.
What a dumb time that was. Fucking dab.
Yeah, great wrestler though.
Yeah.
Don't know why they saddled him with that video game bit. Just didn't work.
It's weird.
But it wasn't a bad theme. It's just like I got tired of it because just the way they were using him. We got the Young Bucks back in the Tokyo Dome, taking on the team of Great Khan, Jeff Cobb, and Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi. This was fun. Great to see Young Bucks back in their element. They looked great. I'm still feeling like put them tassels back on, man.
Put them tassels on.
They had the original music playing. I was like, just go the full,
tassels.
Go all the way in.
Put the tassels
time,
on.
man.
Come on, baby.
Tassels on. Put them tassels on. They didn't put them tassels on. But no, it feels good to see Young Bucks back in the Tokyo Dome when it's no bullshit, no shenanigans, none of that. And the bell just fucking rings. And these two guys are the guys that are my favorite tag team of all time. There's not a lot better. Them locking in, doing their old shtick. It just feels good to see when you know that. It's frustrating when you know that they could be doing this in AEW and it's not happening. I don't know what the disconnected miscommunication is, but they got to get it together.
Well, I hope this is also them maybe signaling a return to the old Young Bucks in AEW, because I've thought about like their last run where they were like extra smarmy EVP types. It's like you can be a heel and have like a proper amount of heat.
Yes.
But I think to most people, there is a limit where like if you dial it up on a certain frequency, not even too much, but just like on a certain frequency, it can turn to go away heat like right in an instant.
It's a fine line.
I think it's a fine line. I think that they stumbled into that when they were doing this last run, because it was just like they would come out, no one would care, because also how are you supposed to care about these guys that are running roughshod and being smarmy when you've got actual people trying to take over the company called Death Riders, like trying to murder people and throw like bags on people's heads and shit. Like there was a little bit of a disconnect there.
Yeah. Speaking of Death
Young
Riders,
Bucks were not throwing bags over people's heads and like trying to make them drink bleach and stuff.
Yeah, nuh-uh.
Speaking of Death Riders, and we'll talk more about that later. Unintentionally funny moment of the week. This Copeland stuff is happening, and they're beating down Copeland. Yeah, Cope. Beating down Cope in the ring, and Mox signals to Marina, get the bag. I was like, oh,
Get
the bag.
And just the way they were flicked out, like so people could see it, I was like, this is hilarious.
One of them under the kitchen sink grocery bags. That's why you got them vibes. Get the bag.
Give me one of the freezer bags. But yeah, this was fun.
No, you said we were going to talk about it later. I was going to talk about.
Yeah, we'll get into the Death Rider stuff in a minute. But yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. This setup, of course, Young Bucks versus Lij later for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Wasn't expecting the Bucks to win here, but you know, it is kind of funny.
Surprising.
It is kind of funny that the team that won the tag league was kind of put in this at the last minute, like, oh, and here's Naito and Hiromu.
Well, yeah, I think
No big deal.
I think Naito's got to go home and rest for a little while. He's that's those stories that were coming out about his eyesight and the surgeries, and it's like once you get to the point where it's like, yeah, I was looking at one person and saw three. It's like you gotta call it here right now. Like, don't do another match. Like, just get it taken care of, or just like you got to go away for a little. I love Naito. He's my favorite. He's up there. He's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. But I don't want to see him like do something where he's going to hurt himself. Like when he's not in big match Naito mode and he's had a lot of rest, and he hasn't had rest, like he looks rough.
Mm-hmm.
His knees look rough.
Yeah. Well, he just had another eye surgery right before Wrestle Kingdom, so
Yeah.
hopefully he's doing better.
Yeah.
Yota Tsuji versus Jack Perry. Man, when you put Jack next to Tsuji and Tsuji comes out with that shit on, he's whacked out. He's very over with that crowd. It's just different vibes, man.
He had that Carmen Sandiego swag going.
Mm-hmm. Carmen Sandiego swag was killing it. He is over. I see why they had him in this position on the card. I want Jack Perry to do something else, but I thought that he played his role in this match.
Yeah, I thought
because the crowd of Japan loved Jack Perry. You know.
Yeah, I thought he played his role very well. But yeah, I think he's due for something else. He needs to evolve this character, and he needs to change it up a bit. But I thought the match was fine. I enjoyed the match for what it was.
Yeah, I thought that this was gonna be maybe the new beginning for Jack Perry, or we're gonna like plant some seeds to what's to happen. But it was just a good match. I think that Jack's in a good position. We're starting the new year. We're starting kind of fresh. The way that he was talking, he had a pretty good 2024. I think that there's an opportunity for him to expand and move forward. So hopefully he does it.
Yeah. It was fine. The worst thing I can say about it is that it just didn't stand out on a card with a bunch of much better matches.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose Vin? Vin's still here?
No, I'm here. It was it was fine. It wasn't the best thing on the card. I like Yota Tsuji getting another big match. I think he's someone who could be in that mix of future like top tier players in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's only just now shaking off some of the rust he's had over the past couple of years, because they've tried starting and stopping him several times now, and it kind of hasn't taken. But I feel like whatever he's doing right now, I think is getting over more than it has in the past.
Yeah. Curious to see what he looks like when he comes back to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really, all the elite guys at this point when they come back to AEW.
Yeah, honestly.
Biggest talking point up to this point: Kenny Omega returned to the Tokyo Dome, new entrance theme, epic entrance. Just Kenny in Japan is just different, man. Just the presentation around him, just how he wrestles, his energy is just different. He looked great. Gabe Kidd, shout out to him. He had the trunks on as a tribute to his old tag team partner, Alex Coughlin, who had to retire because of an injury. Hopefully Coughlin is doing well. But it was cool to see him do that for him. And then also for him to have like the big lion crest on the side for New Japan, making it clear, I'm representing New Japan. I am New Japan now. Your time's over. You had your time. I represent this company now.
Yeah, you're saying your time is up, my time is now.
Can't see me.
See, he planted seeds. Planting seeds.
Gato, I see what you're doing.
I see it. No, the Gabe Kidd's energy coming into this, his confidence, all those bits. He felt like this is his. He felt like he really is defending this company. He really does feel like, why are y'all talking about Kenny Omega and not about me? He really does feel like they should have been on the Wrestle Kingdom. So to have that real kind of animosity, that's why this felt so hot. Kenny coming out with a new theme, new gear, new back, like everything just looks so epic. He looked great. He looked like he was ready to go. There were so many moments of this match that were like, he did the interview or something was like, I don't know if I'll be able to move like the old Kenny. I don't know if I'll be able to be that old person. But there's moments in this match I'm like, what do you mean? You're doing it. I'm seeing it. You're doing the thing like that you said you couldn't do. Big match Kenny, Japan Kenny, and the way that he paces matches and lets things breathe. But then he'll do like the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. There's not a lot of guys that work like Big Japan style Kenny Omega.
No, not at all. Like I'm just thinking about like Gabe Kidd building up to this match. He made a lot of really salient points about like, listen, I'm here. All these other guys, Omega, Okada, like they all left. You let them leave. I'm the real deal. I'm the guy you should be building around. So, and for Kenny Omega to want the match with him and then make it like an us versus them thing, it made sense. It told a great story. It was the most story in any match on the night. And, you know, that's going to lead, and we have one more match to go, but that like is going to lead quite nicely into Dynamite this week. Because I think after that match, I don't know a single person who watched that Kenny Omega match who didn't have the exact same thought, which is get this man into the main event scene in AEW right now. Like whatever plans you had, like call the audible.
We don't care.
Get him in there.
Get Kenny Omega in there. I don't care what plans you have. I don't care how long they are. This guy needs to be in contention for the World Championship now.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, make him, even if he's not, and you want to make him the savior that saves AEW from Death Riders and, like, ends the storyline. Like, have him be the focal point of your show in some way. Whatever you got to do to make it happen. Like, one of my critiques of AEW is that they will, and they didn't do this when they first started, because when they first started, they had stuff that didn't take, and they would switch immediately. And they don't seem to do that a whole lot anymore. Like they'll be like, no, we gotta let it play out. Like people haven't seen it fully play out yet. And it's like, it's okay sometimes to just be like, you know what? We tried something. It had a little buzz, but failed to launch ultimately. And it's okay that we sort of cut it and get rid of it and just go in a different direction. Like a great example is this Adam Cole stuff with MJF. It's like, okay, you had this blow off, and you're like, okay, like, great. Now Adam Cole, now he's going to be the one to, because I'm watching that match when it happened a couple weeks ago, and I'm thinking, like, as it's ending, okay, great. So Adam Cole's going to be the one to stop the Death Riders. Like, he's going to be the new good guy who comes out, and then all of a sudden it's like, let's get the kingdom, the United Kingdom or whatever back together. It's like, I don't want that. Like, I don't know anyone who wants that. Like, that's another thing that failed to launch. Like, and like some of those guys are in the conglomeration now. Like, so what do you do with that? Like, it was just very, Adam Cole at this point should just be like a lone wolf. And if anyone wants to team up with him, like, then okay, we're on his side.
If anyone wants to team up with him, there's a lone wolf that is not in contract anymore with WWE, and his name's Baron Corbin.
You know what?
Well, could be coming in.
It could happen
soon.
I don't want that at all. I was just booking as a joke. That was a bit.
You don't want a Happy Corbin, the Chili's waiter or whatever the hell he was doing? No. Like,
remember Happy Corbin's theme song? Oh my god!
No, I don't.
It sounded like a casino commercial.
Oh yeah.
Promoting a commercial
like this marimba music. Like, come to Foxwoods. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Corbin.
Spin the wheel, round and round we go. Like, that's the Corbin's music.
Yeah, the report is Corbin. There's some interest in Corbin from New Japan.
I did see
I don't
that.
know how true that is, but yeah, this match was incredible. Like, not just like the match they put on, the storytelling in this match was very, very good. All the outside stuff of this turning into both of these guys bleeding, and I think they did such a good version. Shout out to the homie Rich Latta that was the first guy that said that this had vibes of Brett Austin double turn, and it absolutely did, because it had like this vibe of coming in. Everybody's like, yeah, Kenny Omega, big star, but when he pushed that young lion, that crowd was like, boo,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
him out of here. And it kind of felt like, yo, what are you doing? And it kind of came. You could see more and more people were going to Gabe's side of like, well, wait a minute, like, how can you disrespect him? We like him. Like, we've been cheering him. When you look at
And
those
he has been here. Like, he's not lying. He's not
Yeah.
capping about what he's saying.
yeah, yeah. You look
Yeah,
at
you're
New
the
Japan-
gaijin that went away, and now you think you can just come back in here and push our young lions around. And like,
Yeah, we look at the New Japan Strongs and shows and how popular he's gotten in America and with the Japanese crowd. No, they're on Gabe's side with, no, we like Gabe. Like, we wanted this match because we like you, but don't get overboard, bro. Like, and I love the aspects of it of he's where Kenny was at one point in his career. You could see the mirror there of him being a Bullet Club guy. He came out with the War Dogs as his doubles, kind of like Kenny would come out with the Bucks. Even you could see multiple times where Kenny would be down and Drilla Maloney would start getting in his face and start talking shit. It's exactly what the Bucks would do to Kenny's opponents, and Kenny was out there alone. He's not used to that. Like, during this New Japan run, for the longest, he had the Elite, and now you could see like things have changed. He's looked around like, oh, the company's moving forward and it's growing without me, and then also, like, I don't have any of my guys. I don't have the Elite here, and the only other guy that would have been on my side isn't allowed in the building because he don't work here no more. I thought all of those aspects of it were great. I thought the way that they played up all of the fighting spirit for Gabe Kidd, that was great. All the way getting to the end of Tanahashi being in tears because he was so moved by Gabe
Tana
Kidd's.
loved that match. He showed Uno.
I'm like, the contrast between the night before and that shot of Tanahashi being disappointed dad to proud dad was amazing.
Yeah, him being moved to tears by Gabe Kidd standing up for the company and, you know, where the company is moving forward. I thought that was great. And the stuff we talked about with Wrestle Kingdom the day before and how the company's in a transitional phase and you could see them building up this guy or this guy. Gabe Kidd's one of those guys where this meant to them. He's a made guy now. I think it's only a matter of time before he turns face. They're going to kick him out of Bullet Club. It's only a matter of time. He's going to be a baby face too. He's too popular.
He's way too popular. They ran into this thing of like the baby or the heel that's so cool. Eventually, everybody's gonna love him. There was some time where we were all like, he should be the leader of the Bullet Club and execute on that. But now it's like you're starting to be bigger than the Bullet Club, dude. They've sent you into a different place, and this match really cemented him as one of the gaijins to look out for in New Japan. This is a big moment for him, and he played his position awesome. Like his facials in the match, the way that he was talking shit the whole time, just being on Kenny's ass, like trying to force him into his kind of match. I think he was great.
Yeah, well, the crowd likes to get behind a Gabe Kidd because I remember Gabe Kidd being in WCPW back in 2017, and they did a show that was like Bullet Club themed, and for whatever reason, like Adam Cole couldn't make it that night, or like someone couldn't make it. I think it was Adam Cole. So they had Gabe Kidd out there as like an honorary member of Bullet Club for one night only. And then they turn on him at the end and rip his shirt off and stuff. But like, it was just so funny to remember that. Because it's like, wow, like now he actually is in Bullet Club,
Right.
for real. But he's still a babyface. Like the crowd still loves him, and like that's the part of him that never left. Like those British crowds always saw Gabe Kidd as like the young upstart. Like, oh, he's not winning a lot of matches, but like, you know, we still love him because he keeps getting up and fighting. And that's kind of paralleled here. He didn't win that match with Kenny, but like he went away like way bigger for having it.
Yeah, he came away from this definitely looking like a bigger star. Like I said, he's a made guy, and again, that story element ending with the War Dogs helping to carry him out, and Kenny is standing alone in the ring. I thought that was a great way to end it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great match. Great reintroduction back to Kenny Omega. He is exactly who we thought he would be.
Yeah, the stuff that he does in the press conference afterwards to put over all the story element stuff also was very good. Very, very good stuff. At one point, he talked about like how he came back here because New Japan gets him excited about wrestling. If he knows he can come anywhere and have fun wrestling again, it's here. And when that crowd turned on him, he felt like he didn't know what to do. Like he didn't know if he belonged here anymore, and he felt like it was a waste of time. But to see that and see the wheels turning in his head and seeing that drive to turn around and go, okay, I'm coming back to America to take everything now. Even more reason why put this guy in the world title picture. Like, watching all of that stuff in the post comments, like, bro, that should be already cut up and put into a vignette to build into this guy is coming for the AEW World Championship.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to wait for nothing. The way that he's talking, he's like, I'm the god, I'm the king, I'm coming back for mine.
Well, that's my fear, because they did the thing with Okada where it's like, oh, they're building to All In, and he's going to take a belt off Okada. It's like, call the audible. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you want to do both of them at All In still, build to that, but like
title versus title at this point, because
exactly. Yeah. Like, just do title versus title.
Anything, but I think you got to put this guy in a world title picture at this point. He's red hot right now. He still looks like Kenny Omega. He still looks like the man, and it still does.
And they don't have too many like superstars in AEW.
Yeah, he's a superstar. That's the issue that they're gonna run into. Is like, if the world title division is this, and you still got Kenny Omega and Ospreay in the undercard not competing for this championship, it's not gonna make sense. It doesn't make sense for your championship.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, don't try and do like they're pulling this like, oh well, Edge is gonna be the next one. It's like, no, do stuff with Edge that I've never seen before. Me and Phil were talking about this the other day. Like, yeah, get Cope, do the tag team with him and Christian.
Yes, so we can see them against the Bucks. So we can see them against these teams. Yeah.
Yeah, give me something that I'm not going to get to see on WWE.
Yeah. Zach and Ricochet were in an unenviable spot right after this to have to follow up that match. And
nobody wants to be in this spot.
Yeah, and then Zach
they did good, but I think that, again, maybe owing to the thing I said at the start, where like I wish there was a little more like promotion or story progression on the AEW side. Like, they've just come off this month of building up Ricochet, and it being this whole journey of like, oh, they're making him look like a dork, to like, oh, well, maybe there's something here. Like, they're making him look like a maniacal dork. And then it's like, oh, he's a serial killer. And then he comes into this match, and it's like, they just had a good match.
Well,
wasn't the bad match, wasn't great, but like, it was good. Like,
yeah. Zach had some expectations coming into this after people were very down on the Wrestle Kingdom main event as well. And I mean, he still came out with the remix of his theme, which I think is kind of fire. He still looked like the guy. Ricochet came out and I think put on his best performance post WWE we've seen so far. He was incredible. I thought this match was very good. I thought it was better than the Wrestle Kingdom main event, of course. But
oh yes, yeah.
I thought that this was very good. I thought that this match, I wouldn't say it's better than the Gabe Kenny Omega match, but I thought that it worked as a main event. This felt like a main event. Ricochet, man, he proved he belonged, man. He was going at Zach, man. He looked fantastic. Zach put him in that nasty looking submission to put him away. He had to go in the tank to put this guy away. They have great chemistry, of course, because they've wrestled multiple times and you could see it. But yeah, I really loved this match.
Yeah, I think the only issue with this match, the only problem that they had is they followed Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd. Like, I think that, like, in a vacuum, if you just watch this match without watching that match before, you'd be like, damn, this is a fire-ass match. Ricochet was working like the rent was due. Like, he came in and was like, we're in New Japan, so I'm going to be working 1,000 miles per hour. I'm going to be in every position. I'm going to be taking crazy-ass bumps. Zach had that I'm the fucking world champion that just defended in Wrestle Kingdom confidence. He's doing these crazy ass stretches. They're doing these crazy apron bumps. The match alone was great, but everybody was just so exhausted from the Kenny and Gabe stuff that they couldn't really get into it.
Yeah.
But both these guys are fucking working hard.
Yeah. I really love this match, man. I mean, just stylistic, seeing those two guys main event at the Tokyo Dome, like, those two guys used to be junior heavyweights. Like, what was said about Ricochet at like the height of the stuff with Ospreay, this isn't wrestling, and this flippy guy doesn't belong, and to see him main eventing the Tokyo Dome against a guy that has been trying to popularize catch style wrestling again, and like what that represents for the sport, I thought that was awesome. Not for nothing, Ricochet being the first black wrestler to headline the Tokyo Dome in over 20 years, incredible.
Damn, I hadn't thought about it. That's right. That's awesome.
Incredible. And like I said, he not just main evented, he proved he belonged. He looked fantastic. This just like all those people that are like, what is he going to do when he leaves? Is he just going to be over there just being another guy? I think he is like effectively proven that wrong. Like anybody that put a ceiling on him, he's looked tremendous. Like the character work he's doing, also very good. But man,
I think I had put a ceiling on him myself. There was a point where I was like, I like Ricochet a lot. I think he's a great flipper, but I wouldn't ever maybe see him as AEW World Champion. But what he's been doing in the last 3 to 4 months, I'm like, my mind has changed. I think with this character work, with what he's been doing, how he's been working, definitely he's in the running. Like he's went to another level, I think, post WWE, just because he showed me all the other things that I haven't seen from him for his whole career, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think a little people at first were like, okay, what is the difference here? I think it really changed in the Continental Classic. The matches were getting better and better throughout the Continental Classic, and then you could see more and more the character work is catching on. Yeah, really happy for him. I think that this was a good spot for him, even in a loss. Again, it ain't too many black people that get to headline the Tokyo Dome. What a moment!
Not even that many black people in the company, and for the fact that he's one of them to headline the main event, it's crazy.
I think the last one was Bob Sapp, if I remember correctly. I think it's Bob Sapp 2004.
Yep.
I could be wrong. Fact check me if I might be wrong on that one. But that's the last. That's the last black wrestler I can think of that main evented at the Tokyo Dome. But yeah, what a great spot for him. Also great to see so many black women on this card. I didn't say that earlier, but that was also awesome. It's a great show all around. I really enjoyed the show.
It made me feel good. I like what this represents of these two companies working together. New Japan's biggest show of the year. AEW's been growing in Japan and sending over a lot of their heavy hitters. I thought that it did exactly what it needed to do. Reintroducing Kenny Omega into the world was so important, and for him to do it like that is just amazing. It's a great show all around.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely better than Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom felt like a very transition heavy show where it's like, okay, we're clearly entering a new era. Tanahashi's at the helm, and he's, trying to put some pieces back together after a very, very slow crawl out from the pandemic over in Japan. Where for a lot of that time, they had lost a lot of their guys to just being overseas or just not wanting to perform, and then they had some top stars that just went away in the past 5 years, either to AEW or that it's like, in some cases, like you mentioned, Ibushi, weird stuff going on with Ibushi. I don't even know what, all the stuff when he was talking about, the inner workings of New Japan on Twitter. And it was like, well, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. I forgot
some
about
Yakuza
that.
stuff going on here. I don't know if I want to touch that, but so they've had there have been times in the past 3 years where I've been like, I think New Japan's back, and then they kind of cool off to a large degree. So I don't want to say New Japan's, I don't want to get caught in that again, but I think that it's safe to say now that the leadership of Tanahashi, I see what he's doing. I think this Wrestle Kingdom and them partnering up for Dynasty proves that, because they're forging good connections with outside promotions. They're doubling down on their talent that they have in house, and they're finally like really putting Shota Umino in that main event was a good move, even if he didn't come off like the greatest. Because it's like because that's to me, Tanahashi going, okay, we gotta let some of these guys sink or swim.
Yep.
Yes.
We can't keep holding them back. We can't keep putting them in the undercard and thinking like, okay, like we're gonna piecemeal this. Like, no, we have to like see if we've got the next Okada on our hands somewhere. It may not be Shota Umino. It's probably not Shota Umino. But like but I'm
You
glad
gotta see if he is, though. You gotta see if he is. And like, you know what, with Wrestle Dynasty, like Gabe Kidd is clearly now like a better performer for being in that match, just like in terms of his profile. So like that's a case where they did give him like, because on the surface it's like Kenny Omega match, Gabe Kidd, a Kenny Omega match, but it made sense. They told a good story, and then like you saw the results. Like it spoke for itself. Right.
Yeah, I think it was a good call to put Shota in that spot. You got to see what you have in the guy. Even if you don't want to say New Japan is totally back, which I think it is, but again, I'm a New Japan fan. I think it's definitely been more exciting to watch it recently than it was at one point. I think even just being along for the journey of watching them rebuild is exciting. It kind of feels like to me, I say all the time, like being here when the Bulls were good, when Mike was here, and at one point you didn't know anything other than the Bulls winning. And you got like one of the biggest stars in wrestling. At one point, they had like one of the best wrestlers in the world as their franchise guy. And so you don't know anything else other than, and when he's gone.
So you're saying this is the Eddie Curry period for
Well, what I was getting to is that, like, I say all the time, I was more connected to the 2011 team because I grew up watching them struggle and get to that point. And watching Derek get to the point where he was the face of that company and the face of the team. Because I watched it. I watched it from the very beginning. I didn't watch Mike from the beginning. I only know Mike as a winner. And so I because of that, I am more endeared to that team. And I think there's something to say about how currently it's exciting to see some of these guys build up from scratch. And when they do get that win, like when Shota does get there, if he gets there and he becomes champion, it's going to pay off because people were there for the ride.
Yeah, that's exactly how I describe like WrestleMania 30 hit so hard for me. Watching Bryan Danielson put those two belts over his head in that dome hit so hard because I watched him in 2002 wrestle in front of nobody. I watched multiple people tell him his style of wrestling wasn't going to work and that he'd never make it into the company. But when you see him go from the bottom to the top, it's like, it's hard to define and hard to say how much that means. It just hits different. And that's why when they try to force feed main eventers and they try to tell us who the next guy is, it doesn't hit us hard because we want to feel like we came on the journey with them.
Yeah. I think that's why Zach has so much fanfare. That's why there's so much fanfare for him online and with the Japanese fans because we've been on a journey with him for the past 8 years. We saw him lose after he won the New Japan Cup twice. We saw him not be able to get over the hump with Okada. And so seeing where he is now, main eventing back-to-back Tokyo Dome shows, winning back-to-back nights, feeling like the guy, he's not a part of somebody else's stable. He's the leader. He's the front guy now. It hits different because we've been there with him from day one. We've been there with him from Suzuki-gun on.
Right. Yeah, great for him. Amazing stuff. New Japan back.
New Japan back.
New Japan back.
What a super chat said. Give these guys some money.
New Japan back.
New Japan back. Before we move on, I just want to run through the card for tonight. For Battle in the Valley, which will be taking place in San Jose. I kind of love that this has now become like an annual thing of doing the big American show right after the Tokyo Dome. And this has kind of been like the spot for Mercedes at some point. Surprising that she does not have a match on this card, but you go to the Tokyo Dome and put up a banner. It's just sometimes.
That's why I was like, my previous engagement will be okay because Mercedes is not going to be there. I would have canceled my previous engagement if Mercedes was there.
But yeah, this real quick, we got a tag match. Fred Rosser and Matt Vandergriff will be taking on TMDK in a tag match. Hiromu, Mayu, and Yuka Sakazaki will be taking on House of Torture and Sumi Sakai, and Sumi Sakai's retirement match.
That's big.
Shout out to Sumi, big part of Japanese wrestling, big part of Ring of Honor's Women's
Ring of Honor.
Championship.
Yeah,
at
he was
one
the
point.
first Ring of Honor Women's champion.
Yep.
West Coast Wrecking Crew will be taking on Roppongi Revice, the team of Rocky Romero. And that should be a fun match for the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship. Big Gabe Kidd will be back in the States taking on Tomohiro Ishii. That one should be a blast. I'm sure
It's going to be a banger.
Ishii's going to hit this guy with copious amounts of chops.
And elbows, all the things.
That should be a lot of fun. Got Konosuke Takeshita in action as well, defending the Never Openweight Championship against Kushida. Very excited about not just Takeshita having a match, but the prospect of Kushida moving up to the heavyweight division. That should be
Fire.
fun.
Finally.
The Rock has not.
Yeah, give my boy Kush some heavyweight.
Rock
Come on.
has come back.
Got an
Bring back
8-woman
Jackie.
tag. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. 8-woman tag match. Viva Van will be teaming up with Empress Nexus Venus, the team of Hanako.
Oh, that's why Viva Van was at the show last night. I was like, what's Viva Van doing here?
Yeah, she will be teaming up with Hanako, Micah, Mina Shirakawa to take on Anna Jay, Trisha Dora, Azumi, and Ronnie Robbie. And then the match I alluded to from the Lucha Gauntlet, El Desperado, will be taking on Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
That's the main event?
I don't know. I'm assuming it is because it's got to be like the match with the biggest fanfare, unless you're going with Gabe last. But I can't imagine you probably are. It's probably going to be Despy versus Taiji.
Yeah, especially if the championship's on the line. That represents a lot for New Japan. That's a big main event.
Yeah, should be a fun show. I've got some good matches there. I mean, it's Takeshita. I'm never gonna pass on a chance to watch Takeshita wrestle.
Right.
And you can watch it all by subscribing to Fightful Select and giving them money. And
I don't think you can watch the show through that way, but we would like you to do that. But yeah, definitely you could pull up to San Jose or pull it up on Triller Plus, I think, or somewhere. Yeah. New Japan World. Let's get into a few super chats and we'll move forward. Final Boss says they booking Punk like Super Cena, 6 finishers? Question mark.
maybe
6 finishers. Oh, because he kicked out of he kicked out of GTS and then he kicked out at Stomp. That Stomp looked nasty. That he pulled off on Seth Rollins, by the way. What a fun match. I think they've got another round in him, but hey man, he's back. He's going for it.
except Vince Carter. I got another one in me.
They do definitely got another one in them, I think.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a pay-per-view match again after this.
Arduit says, happy Grapsody. Sorry for the late chat. Man, I need AEW to develop these divisions. You have a million champions, but no contenders. Use the divisions to build talent to make these titles mean something.
Yeah, can't disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all know that they need to. There's some stuff that needs to be developed and needs to happen. So, yeah.
Probably consolidate some belts.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
And then Van Twinblade says, Ricochet is Michael Douglas in Falling Down.
I can see it.
The shirt and tie. That's funny.
The glasses.
He just wants his breakfast.
That's all of our super chats. Appreciate everybody for submitting super chats today. Y'all are COOL.
What about those? What about them humper chats?
Big hump.
Bang!
We got one from Van Twinblade. He said, "Goddamn, can y'all believe there are actually people upset that Terrence got booed out of the fucking building?"
Well, he's a legend.
So foul, and he invented the most popular main character syndrome meme in wrestling. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Fuck everyone that still likes him. All right, tell them how you really
I
feel.
thought they were saying just fuck everyone at the end.
That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got some more from Van Twinblade. He says, anyway, let's talk about some good shit. Kenny Omega is fucking back, bitches. Can't wait for Kenny Okada. And other good news, I picked up the new NYX comic. It's really good. And they brought back X23's first not love interest. Okay, not love interest from the NYX 2003 time traveling beauty named Kaiden Nixon. Also, you guys should check out the new Ultimate X-Men comic. Got a lovely watercolor style. It's a universe made by Evil Reed Richards, named the maker. I haven't checked the other Ultimate books yet. I feel like I'm the only person here that knows what you're talking about. Like, I understand all the stuff you're saying.
I don't know what you were saying.
Yeah, the Ultimate.
And then
Call me when they all go to Battle World.
Battle World. Yeah. Yeah, Ultimate Comics has like going through like a reboot because they got rid of it at one point. Like they merged it with the actual regular universe, and so Miles Morales, that's where he's from. He's from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. But that's cool. That's cool to see that Ultimate Comics are back in a big way. They have like a good creative direction for it. I thought that some of that stuff they did with Fantastic Four was interesting. So good to see the makers still around.
Bro. Bring back the Superior Spider-Man. Do it, you cowards.
What a great run. Superior Spider-Man was a great run. One of the times I came to New York, I got a copy of either that or something else signed.
You got signed by Dan Slott?
Yep.
Dan Slott's a big sweetheart.
Yeah. From D-Lo Diggs, when I say I got out of when I got out of there fast, when the first string of that bum Terry Bollea music so fast, I didn't see Jimmy Hart. Prayers to LA. Also, Will Friedle got no love Monday night, and that boy Macaulay is true worker.
Terry, where was the love for Terry McGinnis?
Yeah, they were wrong for that. They put up a whole like name for Topanga and everything, and they didn't give Will Friedle no love. Man.
Because he don't be outside. Topanga the one that be outside recently. We know her.
Man.
She likes wrestling.
Come on, he's done a lot of voice acting. He's
yeah,
not just Corey's
Ron
brother.
Stoppable. Come on.
The Ron Stoppable, Batman Beyond. Give Will Friedle his love, man.
Oh, that's Corey's brother.
Yeah, they just mad because Corey won't pull up to nothing no more because Corey's trying to be a senator.
Awful guy.
Yeah.
Terrible guy.
Awful guy.
Awful guy.
Yeah, awful, terrible guy.
I don't know his politics.
Did you see the story of the homegirl? What's her name? She plays Angela.
Yeah, Angela. Yes.
She's telling a story. She's like, he would be backstage being like, "I'm the boy in Boy Meets World. You guys are lucky to be on the set with me." I'm like, that sounds crazy.
That does sound good. I'm the boy. I'm the titular boy.
I'm the
Boy
prize.
Meets World.
Like,
only I may meet the
I'm
only
the
I
boy.
may dance.
I'm the boy. Drake thinks he's me. I'm the boy.
The first boy.
Hang my banner up and
The first boy.
Yeah, I heard some of the stories she told. Not great. Like some of the jokes that they were making around her, which kind of reminds me of being black and working.
Yeah.
But yeah. Shout out to her. Hopefully she's doing well. Shout out to the rest of the cast from Boy Meets World. Cool to see them outside. I know that Topanga also had. Didn't she have like either a cancer diagnosis or a health scare recently?
I think so. Yeah. Breast cancer, maybe.
Yeah, she had some kind of health scare recently, so glad to see that she's out and still in good spirits.
Yep.
See from Hala Basana, he says, as usual, Kenny Omega is dragging me, kicking and screaming, back into watching wrestling. Come on, man, get back on board, buddy. Get on the bandwagon.
do it.
That's the best part about Kenny coming back is people are inspired. Like people are like, yes, he's back. He's gonna do this. He's gonna change. Like the AEW has the opportunity to do what we're talking about and really change the trajectory of where they're going. You know.
Yeah. Then we got two from Bizarro Big L. He says, "Hey fellas, wanted to give Powerhouse Hobbs some love. That man made me pop so loud when he came back. Hobbs deserves the matches he's getting and more. Put gold on this man. Stat is Hobbs a good fit for the new United Empire? Who else fits?" Yeah, man, I was very happy to see him win that gauntlet match. And his interview afterwards was very funny. Man. Shout out to Hobbs.
That's my big homie. Was not expecting that win at all. Like I was like, I know who's gonna win. I know who's gonna be. That thought so, and then he gets the win. I'm very surprised. And talk shit to a man to his wife, and the right immediately afterwards. Amazing work. What a great, what a great guy.
Yeah.
Very proud of my homie. Happy that after what happened in their last heavyweight championship match, that he gets the chance to, to reconcile that, because he got injured in their last big match. So he's getting another title match, and I'm very excited for him.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Bizarro Big L also says Mina Shirakawa debuted at Big Business, so a possible future rivalry with Mercedes is building blocks for the new AEW Women's Division future, and some love for Von Erich's becoming All Elite. Tag division needs some help, and an Iron Claw might do it. Yeah, I kind of see them doing Ring of Honor and other things, but I do think that I think AEW can be a good fit for them. Hopefully they have plans for moving forward. I don't think they're done with Mina versus Mercedes. I do think we're going to get a second match.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is all of our Humper Chats. Appreciate you guys as always. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if we have any Super Chats left.
That's all of them too.
Yeah, appreciate you guys as always. Guess just to wrap up out of here, Kenny Omega made his return to AEW this week.
He did.
Phenomenal match at Wrestle Dynasty to close the show. I was shocked at first when he came out. I was like, oh no, Battle Cry is gone. I love that theme, so I didn't want it to go away. But also knowing Kenny Omega and his Final Fantasy fandom, and how he talked about this song was composed by the composer that composed for 2 Final Fantasy games, and has a very noteworthy voice actor doing some backing vocals and stuff on it.
Yeah, you got fucking Nobuo Uematsu to do vocals on it.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense that he's going to use it every time. You know what I mean? It's not going to be just for big matches.
Yeah, and if he's also trying to sell us on, this is a new version of Kenny Omega,
right,
that has no ties to like New Japan and the rest of this stuff. This is just him starting over and building himself up. Makes sense for him to go with a new theme. I just love Battle Cry. I think
so good.
I think it's his best theme personally. But
Same.
This was interesting. Seeing some people's reactions to it, because he came out, he did the promo of I don't know if I can do this anymore, but I'm back. And then the Don Callis music hits, and I was like, oh, Don. And anybody that's been saying in all of this pivot to the world title picture, they did not want to see Don. And so Don Callis' family comes out, jumps Kenny Omega. That leads to Will Ospreay coming out, because Will Ospreay has been beefing with Don Callis' family. And then they, do a stare down to end the show. Leaves with Kenny Omega alone in the ring. Again, Kenny Omega has no friends. That's the
he's alone
here.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. I like the story they're telling. While I agree that they should put him back in the world title picture, he does have unfinished business with Takeshita. I have to assume that's where this is leading. That's probably going to be the Revolution match, Kenny versus Takeshita 2 for the International Championship. When you think about like what the International Championship is supposed to be, and the prospect of him going back to New Japan and taking this belt to other promotions to wrestle, makes a lot of sense for Kenny Omega to win that belt. I know people want it to be the world title, but the idea of him winning that belt and him carrying it into All In and having a title versus title match with Okada makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that does hit a lot too. I mean, he does have unfinished business. The thing that I liked most about it is I've came on the post show with Denise a couple weeks in a row now and ranted about the end of Dynamite. They're ending with Death Riders and Edge and Christian and shit. I'm like, this isn't really giving the vibes. This ending gave the vibes. It's Will Ospreay, who many people think should be your world champion, against or facing off against a returning Kenny Omega, who all the other people think should be the world champion. Like, this is what we want the future of AEW to be like. This is what we want Max episodes to end like. Like, this is how the future of this company should look, and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay represent that so well. It felt like that. This is how I want to go, how I want to end this show. I don't want to be like thinking about you paying tribute to WWE Hall of Famers,
Yeah, get Edge up out of here. I don't need
You don't got to get him out of here, Vin, but get him somewhere else.
get him out of this scene. Get him out of there. You think you know.
Yeah, and I mean, watching this, and again, I felt this way watching World's End when it ended, and I was like, maybe we could have just ended with this Kenny Omega stuff because I'm much more interested in that. And it was the same here when we ended the night on the Kenny Omega and the Ospreay and Don Callis stuff. I was like, okay, I'm interested
because I want to know what happens next. It's
Yes.
simple. Like
Yeah.
that episode ended, and I'm like, what does this mean? What's going to happen with Kenny Omega? And even with all the Death Rider stuff, there's not been a moment where they've ended the show with the Death Rider stuff this entire like couple of months where I've been like, man, I can't wait to see what happens with this Death Rider stuff going forward.
Yeah, I think it's lost the plot of what it was initially, and I think it was.
Well, it never had the plot because they did the thing where they're like, we got a new paradigm. Like they were talking real vague, like, oh, we got to change things around in here. It's not gonna be the same old AEW. We're taking over, and like someone's coming. You remember they were teasing like someone's coming, and like no one came.
I never thought he meant literally.
I didn't subscribe to that. Yeah,
I don't know why everybody thought that.
People are still subscribed to that. People are still like, Shane McMahon's going to be the one, and I'm like, what are you talking?
Oh,
about?
that's ridiculous. I never thought Shane McMahon was going to be.
We're
the one.
we're not
Like,
getting Shane at AEW.
But like, but the point is, like, then it was like, okay, like you're being real vague because it's the early days of this. But eventually, you gotta tell us like what your mission statement is. But they never told us like what their deal is. Like, why are they doing all of this?
It seemed pretty clear the mission statement was, hey, all of you guys have gotten complacent. Some of you people that have been here since day one, what are you doing? Like, this is, you're fine with where you are. And that's why the Orange Cassidy feud hit. And I feel like that's why the Hobbs match makes sense because Hobbs, as he pointed out, I came in with Moxley. And like, as much as I've liked Hobbs as a wrestler, you can say he's kind of floundered there. He hasn't had anything to sink his teeth in. And I feel like there is a point here where this feels like, oh, yeah, this is what Hobbs should be doing. This is what this angle should be doing. It should be lifting guys up that weren't doing anything. And it initially was doing that. But now it just kind of feels like, all right, this Copeland feud, like, I don't expect Cope to win.
No. And he shouldn't.
I don't expect Hobbs to win either, but it still feels like
it feels different.
It feels like more of the spirit of what this angle was when it started.
Yep.
Now, the stuff with Edge, I have no interest in it. Sorry, Cope. I keep wanting to call him Edge.
Yeah, because the Hobbs things follows along with what Moxley's saying. You young people need to step up. We need the people that were here in the trenches
to
step
like,
up to the plate. Try to beat me.
Like Cope.
Cope is not a Cope and Christian are not young whippersnappers, dog. They're like, they can't be defending the spirit of AEW because they don't really represent the spirit of AEW. Nothing against them; they're great. I want them to be in the company, but they need to be in a different space.
Yeah, there should be a lot of Moxley getting on the younger guys, putting them through matches that are going to be like a trial by fire, where it's like you haven't been put through your paces yet. We're going to make sure that you're up to our standard. And like once you throw Cope in there, it's like what a 50-year-old Cope needs to know that like he's got to be up to someone's like I don't
I think he knows. He might have been at WrestleMania.
He knows what's going on.
He knows.
Yes. But yeah, I just feel like this whole fighting for the soul of AEW thing has gotten tired. Yeah, I this week really crystallized what it is I feel like AEW has been missing. Just watching it all, just watching New Japan and then watching Raw this week and then watching AEW over like in quick succession. AEW worked because AEW offered something at one point that you weren't getting anywhere else.
Yep.
And I think that what worked in the earlier years for it is, hey, you can't get this matchup anywhere else. And even last year, hey, you're not going to see Swerve Ospreay anywhere else. You're not going to see Ospreay versus Bryan anywhere else. You're not going to see Bryan versus Swerve anywhere else. These are things that only we can do, and that's what you should be doing for the most part with your company. You're not going to outdo what WWE does. Like, that's just clear. If you watch Raw on Monday, they have a crowd that they speak to. That crowd wants this specific product. You're not going to outdo them at what they do best. Just
never
do something.
Can't out Pizza the Hut.
No, do something that's unique to your product. Make
Yes.
something that you cannot find anywhere else. And I don't feel like this Copeland Mox thing is something unique to AEW.
No.
And I think that's
No.
kind of the issue with it. And I think that's also why when you see Kenny Omega come back and you see a lot of core fans excited, because it's like, man, I can't see Kenny Omega wrestle anywhere else.
Anywhere.
And at the prime of his career, after this massive health scare, no, man, get to it. Let's not, let's not dilly-dally around. Let's get him back in the world title, get to the big matches, because we might miss out on this opportunity later. Get to it. Like,
And not only can you not see Kenny Omega,
He's 42.
not only can you not see Kenny Omega anywhere else, you can't see anyone like Kenny Omega. Like WWE
No.
doesn't have we have this guy that's like Kenny Omega. Like he's only here. That's the only place you can watch him is in this company. Same for Ospreay. It's like you have guys, Okada, there's guys that like you can't replicate these guys. They're only here and they're in their fucking prime. We got to do something.
Yes. So, and I mean, I know there's a bit of irony of saying that when I'm excited for Okada versus Omega, and that is a match we saw somewhere else.
That's
but
different.
Still, at this point, this is this massive match that you've never seen on U.S. soil, and you're not gonna get it anywhere else, man. Man, I just when you've got the prospect of that, you've got Ospreay putting on the kind of matches he's putting on with this company on pay-per-view. That match he opened Dynamite with Buddy, bro.
Insane.
And then you go to this Death Rider stuff later on in the show that has been the low point in the show for weeks now. Nah, you got to move on. I feel like it's time.
Yeah.
You got to pivot.
When Ospreay can do that in the opener, I'm like, you can't sell me Cope and later. You just can't. It doesn't make sense for like what this company is, high octane, what they represent, revolutionary and all this. That doesn't feel like the transition you want to have,
No, do what you did to the Nightmare family and just like quietly.
Where's Dan Lambert at, Vin?
Where's Dan Lambert? Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
Was in a basement somewhere. Put him in that basement with Dan Lambert.
Yeah. Was it American Top Team? Like,
dude, remember we used to have to sit through those fucking Dan Lambert segments?
Painful, bro.
Shit was
Painful.
brutal.
That's who's been coming all this time. He's leading all.
Dan Lambert's
it's Dan Lambert.
He's the mastermind behind Death Rider.
Dan Lambert's the mastermind. That actually would make a lot of sense. I'd be like, oh, okay. Now I really understand.
He comes in and with that big, loud, obnoxious promo. It was me all along, Mox.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, we would cry. It would be so.
Yeah,
bad.
I definitely would cry. I would immediately cut Max off. Like, nope.
Cut all this shit off. Cancel my subscription. Like, I'm good.
Death
here.
Rider Dan. No.
Yeah, I'm good.
It'll be the Costco guys.
Death Rider Dan is crazy.
Death Rider Dan, yo. If that is spoken on AEW television, all you're gonna hear is that the noise. The Xbox is gonna come on. Like, yep. All right, let me find something else to do.
Turn this shit all the way on because I'm
out
out
the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna play some Sonic Mania. Get me out of this.
But man, I thought maybe it was just like a small sect of fans at one point, because you could see pockets of the fans going like, "Man, this Death Rider thing ain't it." It seemed like it's been kind of overwhelming online since Kenny came back. It's time to move on from the Death Riders thing, and maybe it's just me, but I've seen a lot of it on Blue Sky. Even when I
after that match, it was overwhelming of everybody being like, "Oh my God, give Kenny the belt right now."
I need Kenny Omega, Big Boom AJ at Texas at All In.
Yeah,
Kenny will take
the
him
Rizzler. Kenny would love the Rizzler. Are you kidding me?
But yeah, it's apparent when you see him on screen. Even seeing him on Dynamite, I was like, yeah, these are the vibes, dude. Like he represents AEW. He has to be a part of the main event scene.
Yeah. This is gonna be very funny. Do you think there's a chance we get 2 world titles moving forward?
Yeah.
Because fans definitely want to see Kenny Omega as world champion, and with both Collision and Dynamite being on Max now, and I think there's a possibility that they could split the brands and we could get 2 world titles.
If you're gonna keep both shows, then split them.
I mean, I
You gotta
think
give me something exclusive to, give me the reason to watch on Saturdays.
exactly. That's where I was leading to. Like, I feel like there's this, I don't want to say a disconnect with Collision, but it's still a hard sell on a Saturday show. There's still so many things going against it. If you add some extra stakes, like there's a world championship over there, there's some different storylines. I think you'll get more people to watch, especially with Max going on. It just makes a lot of sense. Now, will they be able to execute? We just talked about them having too many championships. Like, execution versus doing is a lot different,
Yeah, I get that that's the worry, but I do think that that's a fair question when you see the divide among the fans with people saying, all right, pivot to Kenny, make Kenny world champion.
Right.
I think there's a good chance that we could get another world title, but at the very least, I do think that this is heading towards Kenny as international champion.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially with their building. If they're still doing Don Callis stuff, I feel like there's only one reason they can is to tie that end of Kenny and Takeshita up.
It's all of him wrapping up his unfinished business with the company. Takeshita was one of the last people that beat him before he went away, and then of course he's got unfinished with Jack Perry and the Elite. But I think they're gonna save the Elite stuff for later down the road.
Right. Hey, what's over there says, I want to see this version of Kenny in a segment with current Hangman.
You
Definitely.
might get it.
But that's another reason why I'm saying, man, you put that guy in a world title picture and
Then you could have Hangman come back and challenge.
there's too many things you can do with that. Swerve, come on, dog. Swerve should be
Swerve versus
in
Omega
2025.
is maybe my number one
Yeah.
match right now. Like that's so fire. Yeah, just seeing Kenny interacting with all the new people, interacting with the old people, I feel like him as world champion right now would hit different. That's why it's so intriguing. But the international championship thing is just kind of right there,
Yes.
It's an exciting place to be. The AEW has an opportunity to really do something about it. This next couple of weeks are going to be very telling. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
They need to have a four-sided curtain above the ring. And they need to, when Kenny Omega, don't have him come out, just have him be in the middle of the ring. And you lower it.
Yeah, the issue is that
it's not Kenny Omega at all. It's Tony Khan.
I was going to say the issue is that Tony Khan hasn't shown his face on every episode. Like, that's how you get the rate. Like, Triple H knows the thing. Like, if he shows this, like, if he's like, yeah, I'm here, then, like, the ratings go up.
Bro.
So, Tony Khan, try it.
We get at the start of AEW like that, and that curtain falls down. It's just Tony in the middle of the ring. You guys ready for Dynamite?
You guys ready?
I'm telling you, the energy.
You guys ready to watch Time Cop?
Try it, Tony.
Kenny
Don't
as champion.
Don't try it, Tony.
You want me to use ChatGPT to put Kenny Omega in Time Cop?
It's too much. It's too much. Then Triple H does it. Tony, do not follow his lead.
Don't do it, please.
Please don't. Please don't follow his lead. Is something going? Like, is it the wrestling news breaking? I'm like, why do our numbers keep going up so much right now?
Because talking about Big Ken. Big Ken is
I don't know why. Big Kenneth talk.
Like, appreciate everybody joining, but I'm like, did some crazy story pop off right now? We go online and they're like, the Spaghetti Man is out. Spaghetti Man is getting a championship. The Spaghetti Man is going to get a world title match tonight.
That's why I call Emilio. I call him the Spaghetti Man.
Spaghetti, yo. Why? I don't feel comfortable calling him that. That sounds just a little racist.
I want to tell you, I'm like, I was not talking about an Italian when I said the Spaghetti Man. Do not try to cancel me. I want no parts of this.
Phil, the man has literally made us sauce. Like,
He's
I
made
didn't know that. Right?
I still don't feel comfortable.
Remember, he was mad at you for not making your own spaghetti sauce. So I mean,
he was very mad at me for drinking, for not drinking,
That's
but
what
not
I'm saying.
making jar sauce. Like you
Drinking
eat
sauce.
jar sauce.
Yeah, we
Make your
all
own
of us
sauce.
Italian. We all just sit around drinking jars of
Everybody
marinara
put a
sauce.
big- just like, gotta taste this first.
A little macaroni with some gravy.
Little jar of Rayos in the morning.
Macaroni with some gravy.
Nah, man. If you don't know what I'm referencing, that's a Scarface. That's not Scarface, but a Sopranos reference, because Italians, of course, call spaghetti macaroni, and a little gravy on top, a macaroni.
Gravy sauce.
Nah, no gravy. Gravy's for turkeys.
That's all of our super chats. That's everything.
There we go. No more humper chats.
I don't think there are. I will double check, but Let this be known again. I did not call my friend Spaghetti Man.
No, that was Van. That was me.
That was
all
all
on
me.
Van. Put it all on
That was
Van.
me. That was all me.
It wasn't me.
Call him
I
Spaghetti
called
Man.
my friend that.
Spaghetti Man.
Yeah, he. I'm gonna.
It's like that. What is that sound guy? It's like my favorite sound guard. Spaghetti Man.
Spaghetti Man.
We do not have any more. We don't have any more Humper chats.
Well, if anyone else has super chat, get them in now before we wrap up. Like, give these guys some money. Come on.
Yeah, I think
like,
that's
you just said a lot of people came in. Like, give them.
Nah,
Yeah.
those people.
Throw those ones in the air.
They're like, "Where's Sean Ross Sapp at? Get these fools out of here."
Where's Sean?
Yeah, there's breaking news. Spaghetti
Where's
Man.
SRS? We need to hear about Spaghetti Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, last call for your super chats and
It's-
Humper chats. All well appreciated, but
It's 3 hours and 49 minutes. Why is this episode so short this week?
But as always, make sure to like the video when we get out of here. If you want a hat like mine or like the homies, Grapsody by Grapsody.bigcartel.com.
Big Graps, baby. Well, plug some other stuff before you take off of here, Vin. Where else can we find you?
Yeah, vinforte.substack.com. Go there for everything. Do that right now before you forget, because I would forget too. I don't blame you.
It's easy
Go
to
there,
forget.
vinforte.substack.com. There should be a thing right at the top to go subscribe for free, so you don't miss any more articles. I write mostly about music, but I throw a couple wrestling articles in there every once in a while. And yeah, everything's over there. Go follow me over on Blue Sky at vinforte dot whatever the hell the bsky dot social.
Blue Ski.
Yeah, and then on Twitter at Mighty Vin, and then on Instagram, where I'm probably most active, at Vinforte NYC.
Yeah. Of course, we're both on Blue Sky as well. Grapsody is on Blue Sky as well. Grapsody.bsky.social. I don't think we have anything else to plug. I don't see any more Humper chats and super chats. All of you guys that are hoping 4 hours. We're not going 5 hours.
No, we're out of here.
We tricked you. We're getting
Gotcha.
out of here before the 4 hour mark.
We tricked you. We tricked you.
This has been another episode of Grapsody. Appreciate you guys as always. Enjoy some wrestling tonight. Be around your loved ones. Do the things. Still be in holiday vibes. Shovel some snow like I'm about to do. But we're out of here.
Peace.